we go. It is Friday, people. Welcome into another edition of the Joe Ranieri Show, WTF Sports TV. Thank you very much for coming by, hanging out, making us a part of your day. We are loaded once again here today. We are moments away from hearing from our good friend Russell Baxter, ProFootballGuru.com. This is a guy that has been writing and covering the NFL for as long as I can remember, and can't wait to ask him a whole bunch of stuff about some of the headlines going on in the NFL. So we're going to talk to him in just a couple of minutes. Also coming up, we're going to have a chance to pick the brain of the dean of sports handicapping. We are talking about Mark Lawrence, a legend in the sports betting, sports handicapping business. It doesn't get any better than or bigger than Mark Lawrence. He's going to join us coming up bottom of the hour, so we're going to be able to talk to him a little bit about some of the games coming up, and if you've ever thought about becoming a professional sports handicapper, well, then, hell, where do you go from here? He is a guy that's got just bountiful amounts of information, and I can't believe we're going to have a chance to talk to him. That's coming up bottom of the hour. I've got your locks for you. You know those are coming. Those are coming down the pike. There's 3 games tonight in college football. There's a 3-team parlay that I'm going to give you, tell you how to make that money. Not to mention, there are 3 or 4 games that are really sticking out on Sunday in the NFL. The line movements are all over the place. A lot of sharp money coming in as of late. We'll tell you what games those are and what side of the bet you should be on, and that is for sure. But why don't we welcome in, I do believe we've got Jeremy, Facebook Live, joining us. Don't forget, guys, Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, always broadcasting live each and every, as I got a crazy-ass dog hair hanging down in front of me. We always broadcast live Monday through Friday, 4 o'clock here. You can always catch it. You guys know where it's at. And the beauty of this is if you don't have it here, where you're not seeing us live, don't worry about it. You got the replays. It's available every day as soon as the show is finished with. But now, let's not wait any longer. Let's bring in the man behind the man behind the man. He is Russell Baxter, ProFootballGuru.com. And Russell, welcome in. Thanks for taking some time, man.
Hello.
Oh, hey, how are you, Russell? You all right, my man?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. I can hear you. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. How are you, man?
Fantastic, man. What's going on?
No, I'm just calling from Norway. I was just wondering, like, if the NFL are nigger.
Oh, nice. Didn't see that coming, man. Came in from Norway there, huh? That definitely was not Russell Baxter, so let me get that off of the fact there. Sorry about that, Russell. That was definitely not him. You got to love live internet because you're definitely going to get people like that show up. But, Jeremy, we did want to say hello to you, too. I'm not sure if that came across before this tool bag showed up. And I should have known because it was coming across as he blocked his number, and only a total douchebag would block his number along those lines. But, hey, listen, welcome in, you asswipe. Thanks so very much for making us a part of the day. But Russell will be calling in here in just a couple of minutes. Can't wait to actually talk to him because last night's game, Jets taking on Jets in Cleveland last night. And did you guys happen to catch the celebration of all celebrations last night? This was actually the funniest thing that I've seen in a very long time. But, of course, a lot of people didn't find it amusing. I thought it was one of the best celebrations that we have seen. Check it out. I'm not sure if you were watching the game last night because I know a lot of people were going, I don't want anything to do with this game. Having to watch good old having to watch good old Tyrod Taylor there, and the New York Jets wasn't exactly what people wanted to be a part of. So I don't blame people for trying to avoid that game altogether, but I do think we've got Russell now who's going to be joining us here. And Russell, welcome in, my friend. How are you?
Good, Joe. What's going on?
Oh, man, pleasure to talk to you. I know it's been a long time, but thank you very much for taking a few minutes out. And it's NFL Week 3, man. I can't believe it. Can you believe it? It's Week 3 already, and we were just talking about last night's game, and what did you make of the whole Baker Mayfield coming in, saving the day? I'm hearing now he is the savior of Cleveland. He's going to be the greatest quarterback to ever play. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it is kind of funny. We have a tendency, or some people have a tendency to anoint very, very quickly. The same mindset when it came to Sam Darnold after week one. The Jets win 48-17. He throws a pick six on the first play. They rebound, and he rebounds. And now all of a sudden coming crashing back to earth. The thing about the NFL is you have so much time to talk about it afterwards. Especially a game like this, which is a Thursday night game, and it's the only game in town for a couple of days. And, but Sunday will roll around and we'll underreact and we'll overreact to some other things. But, you look at the game on the surface last night, Mayfield comes in there. He did a great job of getting rid of the football quickly, which I think was the problem for Tyrod Taylor in that game. Tyrod winds up suffering the concussion. He looked uncomfortable the entire night under the gun. Remember, he was sacked 7 times in the week one tie against the Steelers. So, that's not a great offensive line with the Browns. It's still kind of trying to find itself and so on. But I think they made some adjustments in the second half. I think maybe the Jets weren't really prepared for what they were going to see in terms of Mayfield. But, the whole team stepped up. And, it's got a pretty respectable Browns defense. Now, are they getting ready to run the table? I don't think so. But, I understand the excitement, and a lot of that excitement, obviously, is for a team that had not won a game since week 16 of 2016.
Yeah, absolutely. Russell Baxter joining us, ProFootballGuru.com. And then, on the flip side, for all the excitement that Baker Mayfield is bringing to the table for the Cleveland fan base, we've already got our overrated or complete failure now with Sam Darnold. I mean, it's still a rookie, and it's amazing to me how the overreactions are so crazy on both sides here. Baker Mayfield's great, and now Sam Darnold is a bust. What did you think? What do you think they've done, the Jets, so far with Sam Darnold? How do you think they're handling him?
I think they're handling him just fine. You think of the irony. You're either a bust, as in disappointment, or you're a bust in the Hall of Fame. There is no happy medium.
Right.
When it comes to a lot of these guys.
Yep.
And listen, the Jets were a 5-11 team each of the past 2 seasons. It's almost as if there are many people, both fan-wise and even in our profession, who refuse to accept the notion that this is not a one-man game. Okay? This is not about picking up the NFL schedule and saying which quarterback is playing this week. Okay? That would be great at the U.S. Open. Okay? That would be great at the U.S. Open in tennis and golf of who's playing this week. You have to have all the parts. You have to have cohesion. Okay? So the Jets last year, which had some defensive holes last year, okay, had to fill one this offseason with Avery Williamson coming in to fill in for Demario Davis. This is a team that is, let's see what that would be, 10-25.
5, yes.
I'm sorry, bad math by me. 11-24 the last 3 years. So expecting Sam Darnold to come in here and just right the ship is kind of unrealistic as well. So, but again, the knee-jerk reaction to what we see, I think the Jets are doing a fine job with. And listen, even in what turned out to be the loss last night, you look at Sam Darnold, and one thing you notice with Baker Mayfield, and you notice with some of these young quarterbacks, it's almost as if, Joe, they look more comfortable on 3rd and 4th down than they do on 1st and 2nd down.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was very noticeable last night as well.
Darnold, before he threw the game-ending pick, Sam Darnold completed, I believe, a terrific pass on 4th down to keep the drive alive.
Mm-hmm. And I think, too, the Cleveland coaching staff did a better job of kind of taking the training wheels off of him and saying, all right, go out, do what you do, which a lot of times is extend plays and get out of trouble and throw the ball downfield. And it did appear, though, that the coaching staff for the Jets were just going to scream to death the Cleveland Browns, and that's about all they trusted Sam Darnold to do. Did you get that impression as well?
Well, yeah, and I don't know if it was so much trusting Sam Darnold, but not trusting their offensive line.
Good point.
And, of course, the screen game provides you with a couple of aspects. For the offensive lineman, that means they could run downfield and not have to block Myles Garrett. That defense has gotten out after Ben Roethlisberger and Drew Brees the first two games. Okay, so Greg Williams, who's one of the obviously more aggressive defensive coaches in this league, a head coach at one time, obviously with the Saints for a spell as a defensive coordinator, very aggressive. They went out and, people scratched their heads a little, Joe, about not getting Bradley Chubb. They went out and drafted Denzel Ward with the 4th overall pick. He's been sensational.
Yes, he has.
The first 3 weeks. He had a big play in the game last night.
Yep.
So they got the right pieces for what Greg Williams wants to do. Now they just got to get the offense to complement the defense. And that last night, there were a lot of bubble screens. There were a lot of quick passes to the outside. That was to get the Browns either, and the draw plays inside as well. They wanted to take advantage of the Browns' aggressiveness. And a lot of times you can diminish a pass rush by making them think that you're going to drop back and pass and then handing off the ball. So kudos to the Cleveland defense, which has a bunch of takeaways in the first 3 games. By the way, last year in 16 games, the Browns forced only 13 turnovers.
Yep, you're going to be able to win some games if you continue to do that. Russell Baxter joining us, ProFootballGuru.com. That's where you can see him also on Twitter at BaxFootballGuru. The mess that is the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, it's pretty simple, Russell. Has Mike Tomlin lost the locker room? Has he lost all control as to what is going on in Pittsburgh? Or is everyone still overreacting to Le'Veon Bell not being there, what Antonio Brown did, not showing up this week? Or is Mike Tomlin truly, are the wheels coming off in Pittsburgh?
I don't think the wheels are coming off, but they got to do something to fix that defense, show. I mean, that's really the cause of angst. The team won 13-3. They won the AFC North. But think about what we've seen from the Steelers defensively. The last 2 games they played at home. And think about this. I mean, I've been watching football for a long time, obviously going back to the late 60s, early 70s, and obviously I'm not going to start talking about the steel curtain.
Right.
But to lose home games 45-42 and 42-37, that doesn't – I mean, that's – that might be the Pitt Panthers basketball team, okay? That's what we've seen at Heinz Field the last 2 times. You go back, and it actually started even before Ryan Shazier went down with the neck injury, okay? And now, obviously, his football future is in question, although he's, doing very, very well, obviously, rehabbing and so on. The Steelers' defensive unit, Joe, in the last 9 games, has given up 32 touchdowns.
Wow.
Okay? Remember, they survived a game at home against Baltimore late in the year, 39-38. They survived a game against the Green Bay Packers on a Sunday night without Aaron Rodgers, 31-28. So even in these wins, and sometimes the wins mask the problems, this team has given up a bunch of points, and it's about 27.5, I think, points per game the last 9 games. They were giving up 16.5 their first 10 games last year. So you see Pat Mahomes come in and throw 6 touchdown passes and be laser sharp against them. And this was think about this as far as defensive problems. This was a team last year that led the league with 56 sacks and still couldn't cover anybody.
Crazy. Yeah, absolutely. It's been just an unbelievable 3 weeks thus far in the NFL. Storylines all over the place, drama all over the place, and maybe no more drama I wouldn't want to say this is going to be a huge game, but Sunday night we've got the teacher versus the student. We got Matt Patricia, head coach of the Detroit Lions, now going to take on his former teacher there in Bill Belichick and the Patriots. And the rumors are already flying with Matt Patricia. Not the players just aren't adapting. They're not buying what he is selling. Is Matt Patricia truly in trouble in Detroit, or should we all just breathe and give them a little bit of time? After all, they do have Matt Stafford as a quarterback.
Yeah, they do. And they also have Bob Quinn as a general manager. And Bob Quinn of course, is familiar with Matt during both days in New England. But it is worth noting, and not all of this is on the defense, obviously, Joe, but the last 3 times Matt Patricia has taken the football field is either a defensive coordinator or a head coach. He saw the Patriots give up 41, and then the Lions give up 48 and 30. That's 119 points. Again, pick 6 with the Jets, punt return at the Jets. But last week, the 49ers, who were really kind of devoid of offensive weapons, they were up 30-13 in that game before Matt Stafford made it close. So, yeah, there's stories about, rough on the veteran players, not seeing eye to eye, et cetera, et cetera. Listen, you never know with a first-time head coach. And as you remember, in week 1, all the brand new head coaches took an L, all 7 of them, and so on. Things now starting to settle down a little. But it'll be interesting. I will say this. I saw New England last week, and I'm not surprised Jacksonville beat them. But I was surprised the way Jacksonville beat them, because Jacksonville beat them with their offense. And it wasn't sacking Tom Brady 6 times and forcing 3 turnovers. Blake Bortles thrown for 377 yards and 4 touchdowns. And even though Jacksonville turned over the ball twice in that game, they were up 21 at one time. They were up 18 at one time.
Yep.
It was, a pretty decisive win. So I think a lot of people were wondering about New England's offense this year. Their defense was a no-show last week.
It absolutely was. And the offense, for the first time, like you said, you can ever remember, Blake Bortles and that offense without Leonard Fournette were able to carry the day and actually beat the New England Patriots. And I'm wondering, too, I want to go through with you. Russell Baxter joining us at Bax Football Guru. You see it there on the screen. ProFootballGuru.com is where you can check out his stuff. I want to play contender or pretender with you. I'm going to give you a couple of names of some teams here, and you tell me if you think they're a contender or a pretender. And we're going to start with the Miami Dolphins here in South Florida. Are they contenders or pretenders in your view?
They haven't convinced me yet that they are contenders. I will say I'm surprised by their start. But if I have to choose one or the other, I'll say pretenders for now, because I think this is one of those teams that was more shrouded in mystery this offseason. They cleaned out a lot of high-profile guys like Mike Pouncey and Ndamukong Suh. And I also have to say pretenders because I'm not sure what we're going to get all season from Ryan Tannehill. Here's a guy who hadn't played football for over a year heading into the season. And he hasn't been super sharp, but he's been resourceful.
Cincinnati Bengals, pretenders or contenders?
Contenders. This is a team that's always had good personnel. This was a team last year during the offseason, off a disappointing year, but really took a big blow last season in free agency, Joe, when they lost Andrew Whitworth, the left tackle, to the Los Angeles Rams. I don't think they ever really recovered from that. This year they went out and did some wheeling and dealing. They got Cordy Glenn to play left tackle. They got Billy Price, the rookie from Ohio State, to play center. They look sharp. Are they going to win every game 34-23 this year? They're 2 for 2 so far. But I think they've been very, very impressive. They have good personnel. Now, it's always been a team that's had a little bit of depth as well, especially at the skill positions. And, Jeremy Hill's out for the year in New England, former Bengal. Joe Mixon's now out for a couple of weeks with the Bengals, but they have Giovanni Bernard to fall on in terms of the running game.
Yes, no, and they've done very, very well. And listen, so is this team, given what they have here. Denver Broncos, are they contenders or pretenders, do you think?
I have to say pretenders for now because I want to see Denver on the road, okay? And I also want to see Denver. I know this sounds really weird. I want to see Denver in October, okay? As hard as believe as it may sound, and it's regardless of who's the starting quarterback now, because over this stretch it's now been Peyton Manning, and it's been Trevor Siemian, and now Case Keenum. Joe, the Broncos are 2-0 for the 6th year in a row. Okay, some of those have resulted in Super Bowl appearances. Last year they were 2-0 and 3-1, and then lost 10 of the last 12 games. In 2016, without Peyton Manning, they were 4-0. And then they lost 7 of their last 12 games. So I got to say pretenders for now. But make sure you have me back on about week 6 or 7, and we'll see if we can sort this out.
There you go. All right. He is the man behind the man who's the man. And I can't thank you enough. Russell Baxter at Bax Football Guru on Twitter, profootballguru.com. Make sure you check his stuff out. And I also wanted to mention, too, I thought you had this on your Twitter report, too, Russell. I think Julius Peppers is doing something really good for the community. He's from North Carolina. If you just want to speak real quick to what's going on there, and obviously from South Florida, we know all about hurricanes, but he's actually put together a pretty good thing where he's starting to raise money for the folks there.
Yeah, anytime I see anything charitable, regardless if it's sports or non-sports, I try to get it out there. And Julius Peppers, who in my mind will one day be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I think it's amazing to think what his career has been. He's back in Carolina. He obviously has ties there. The second overall pick in the 2002
crazy
NFL draft, and still, just big play after big play for him. He's trying to help the hurricane victims and so on. Go to his Twitter page. He has all the information, very much like J.J. Watt has done such great work for the Houston community. Obviously, Julius Peppers falling in line. And these are the stories that oftentimes kind of get lost in the backwash, unfortunately. There's so many good players and so many good people out there doing good things. Unfortunately, we have a tendency to talk too much about holdouts.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's why you should follow at Bax Football Guru. He is Russell Baxter. Russell, thank you so much for taking some time out, my friend. Looking forward to doing this again.
You got it. We got to get that. And by the way, I'm just curious. You said the man behind the man behind the man. I sound like I'm standing in line at a movie theater.
No, he's definitely not. He is the man. Let's leave it at that. Russell Baxter. Russell, thank you so very much, my friend.
You got it, sir.
All right, man. Take care. Russell Baxter at Bax Football Guru. Make sure that you check him out. Some great stuff there. He's one of those. He's one of those guys that covers the NFL, and his Twitter stuff is amazing. His website too, Pro Football Guru, is also just chock full of great information. So if you're looking for a new follow, somebody that has a different viewpoint on the NFL and really kind of gets behind the stories there, then definitely follow Russell Baxter at Bax Football Guru on Twitter. Really cool stuff. Also really cool is Vari is in the house. We got Vari coming in over here. I know it's going to be any minute before I hear about the Raiders and the Dolphins, but we got so much to get to, including coming up here in just about 10 minutes, the Dean of Sports Handicapping, Mark Lawrence. He's going to drop by. We're going to talk about all of this craziness. Sports betting is legal, in case you guys haven't heard, and there's a lot of people going, hey, man, I'd like to do that for a living, or like, how do I get involved in that? What do I got to do? This is the guy that you need to listen to. He's been doing it for 40 years, one of the most well-respected professional sports handicappers in the game, and he's got to be pretty good if he's been doing it for 40 years. He's going to join us coming up bottom of the hour here, just about 10 minutes away. Going to be some fun stuff talking to him. Plus, still going to give you the NFL and college football locks of the day. There's 3 games tonight. I've got the 3 winners for tonight. I'll tell you where to be looking. That's coming up. But first, want to thank our good friends over at Miami Acura. They want you to take a test drive. The all-new 2019 RDX. Doesn't get any better than this brand new, all-redesigned 2019 RDX. They are South Dixie Highway, Palmetto Bay. For those of you in the 305, the peeps there, the 954, you know where it is. Just keep heading out towards Kendall. You can't miss them. Or just simply call them, 855-564-4669. Tell them that Joe said I got to come in, take this thing for a test drive. I'll probably never give it back, and then, I'll probably end up going to jail. But it was so worth it, because really, the 2019 RDX is just an amazing ride. Go take it for a test drive. 855-564-4669. And coming up in just about 3 minutes, We'll talk about what the Yankees and the Red Sox are doing and baseball season and playoffs and, oh my goodness, all sorts of fun stuff coming your way. 3 minutes, but we got to thank a few more of our sponsors who make this possible each and every day. So hang in there. We'll be right back. It's the Joe Ranieri Show on WTF Sports TV.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. That's 800-293-0328.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. That's 800-761-1427.
Get ready to talk sports. It's the Say It With Me podcast. Now here's your host, Joe Ranieri.
Yeah, excited. I got all sorts of bombs being thrown our way already from the lunatics in the chat rooms here. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, streaming live to you each and every day, 4 p.m. Gotta love that. Actually, not every day. Don't count the weekends because we're actually watching the sports there. That would be Monday through Friday, 4 o'clock here. Twitter and Facebook Live and YouTube Live, all at WTF Sports TV. If you guys haven't done so, please subscribe. Pass the knowledge, pass the wealth. Share it with your friends, your family, anybody who likes sports and likes to hang out and steal corporate time by watching us. We'd certainly appreciate it. Just like Varian there, who's throwing bombs already, talking about Penn State. We got Penn State tonight. We got actually a couple of games that are... There's some meat on the bones here tonight. There's 3 games, 3 big games, a couple of must-win games for some programs here, and including FAU is tonight locally here in South Florida, the 561 Boca Raton FAU. Lane Kiffin and the boys travel into the center of the state in Orlando to take on UCF. So there's some interesting line movements with that game. We'll talk about that coming up. Don't forget phone number. It's somewhere over here. There it is, 855-WTF-2255. That is how you reach us here on the show. That's 855-WTF-2255. And I had mentioned what Julius Peppers is actually doing for the community, a guy that is definitely a Hall of Famer in Carolina. And having us here in South Florida, we know what it's like to have to deal with hurricanes, and those folks in the Carolinas and Virginia who are just trying to put their lives back together here after Hurricane Florence. We know what that's like, and trying to pass the word, because we know how important it is for people to come to the rescue and try and, help these communities rebuild after all of this flooding and that storm. It's very hard to explain to people who have never had to live through a hurricane, especially one as crazy as Florence, as to what goes on. But here is Peppers and what he has to say. This is on his Twitter page about what he's doing. It's actually pretty cool.
Being a native of the Carolinas and seeing the reality of these people affected by the hurricane made me want to do something to help. I started the Julius Peppers Fund at the Foundation for the Carolinas and gave $100,000 to kick it off. I'm asking my teammates, players around the league, and the community to get involved as well. I want to use my platform to encourage others to give what they can and help with this rebuilding process. If you want to give, you can go to Panthers.com or Foundations for the Carolinas to donate. Thank you.
Awesome stuff there. So if you get a chance, you guys check out his Twitter page. Go to the Panthers page. They're doing a lot for the community there, and trust me when I tell you, it's a long, tedious rebuilding process. Try to get your life back on track after dealing with a storm like Florence is not an easy thing to do. So hats off to Julius Peppers. We can spread the word. We will definitely do that. What do we got here? Jeremy joining us here, Facebook Live. Jeremy had a great time at the New York State Fair in August. The fair ended on Labor Day. Summer is officially over. Actually, I do believe the fall starts tomorrow officially, except for us here in South Florida, where that we don't know what fall is. Usually right after Labor Day is usually schools start to go back in the Northeast and around the country. But here in Florida, people have already been back to school since August. It's still hot as balls here. No way around it. There is no fall. We don't get fall until maybe November, December, and the temperatures will drop somewhere in the 70s, and we're like, oh my God, we got to bust out the hooded Parkers and the long sleeve shirts and the thermals because we don't know what to do with ourselves. That's what we're used to here in South Florida when it comes to fall. But tomorrow is officially the beginning of fall. We are about a month away from Halloween, which is even crazier to think about. Halloween is just around the corner, only about 30 days away from that. And also baseball is just around the corner. The playoffs, the World Series, and of course the Yankees last night. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Tanaka had been one of the best pitchers the Yankees have had thus far, especially over the last month or so. I think he had only allowed one run in his past 3 starts in the month of September. So trying not to get the Red Sox to celebrate on their home field was something we were hoping we could do, and we were hoping that he could do, and unfortunately it didn't happen that way. He got roughed up. The Red Sox just finally, they clinched it. They ended up locking up the American League East Division. They got the playoffs. They're battling now with Cleveland for a home field, is it home field advantage, I guess, throughout the playoffs, depending on what happens. And the Yankees are trying to stay ahead of the Oakland A's and even the Tampa Bay Bucks, who lost a heartbreaker last night, giving up 7 in the 9th to the Toronto Blue Jays. Just a heartbreaking loss, especially for those of you that had money on Tampa last night. Watching the Blue Jays score 7 runs in the bottom of the 9th was, something gets in your throat there, and you can't breathe as you're watching it happen. But the Yankees are 1.5 games ahead of the A's for the at least the home field wild card game. They would host the game against the Oakland A's or against the Tampa Bay Rays, depending on what happens here over the next week. But They've got to lock that up. They've got to get it locked up. The lead over Oakland is 2 in the loss column. The Yankees do hold the tiebreaker there. So they begin a series with Baltimore tonight. They've got to take care of business there. And they've got to get a little bit of help, which would be great from others. Boston doesn't have to do anything. They don't have to play anybody. I'm anticipating that they are looking, I think they have to go 2 and what was the number I was given? I think they've got to go 2-8 in the final 10 to be able to set the record for most wins in a season for the franchise. But I'm pretty sure they're not interested in doing that. All they have to do is get ready for the playoffs, and I'm assuming that's what they're going to be doing here over the next 10 days. But the Yankees, man, oh man, it's never easy. You think about a team that has the possibility of winning 100 games, and we're all questioning whether or not they're good enough, A, to even make it to the playoffs, and B, can they even win a wild card play-in your in game? Can they beat the Oakland A's in a one-off? Can they beat the Tampa Bay Rays? It's not as if the Rays hadn't owned their ass or the second half of the season. The Oakland A's, they're not intimidated by anybody. So the other big question is which one of the Yankee pitchers should start that play-in your in game? Should it be Tanaka, who has been really good the last month, who's always been their ace? Should it be Severino, who was unhittable in the first half of the year, and he's starting to come back with some better outings? Or should it be the new guy who has not lost, J.A. Happ? The guy has not lost since he was traded from the Toronto Blue Jays to the New York Yankees. His ERA is hovering around 2.5. Happ is a big game picture, and maybe more importantly, Happ keeps the ball in the ballpark, unlike Tanaka, who we have seen give up multiple home runs. We just saw it again last night. Sometimes Tanaka has a propensity to allow the ball to leave the ballpark. That's not what you want when it comes to a play game where you play and you advance, and if you lose, you go home and you start making tea time. So I'm for Happ unless I see something here from Tanaka or Severino over the next start before the end of the season. But right now, to me, I think you've got to go with J.A. Happ. He is the guy that he's unbeaten. Even before, and remember this too, the reason the Yankees went out and got him, part of the reason was that Happ owned the Yankees as a Blue Jay in Yankee Stadium. He was practically unhittable at Yankee Stadium when he was a Blue Jay. So the Yankees had that in the back of their mind. Give Cashman credit. They went out and got a guy that has a very good chance of shutting down. He pitches well in that ballpark, and he's already beaten the A's earlier this year. So to me, you got to win to be in, and if you got to do that, then I think the best chance for the Yankees to do that would be J.A. Happ to be the mound. I do think Tanaka and Severino, you can get to the American League Division Series taking on, Cleveland or taking on the Red Sox, depending on how it finishes. I like the rotation. I like the way it sets up there, but you got to win that game in order to advance. And right now with the Yankees, the best person to do that in the lineup, in the rotation, is J.A. Happ. So we will see how that goes there. All right, guys, I'm pretty excited here because I do believe we've got him. Do we have him? Yes. Yeah, Mark Lawrence is going to join us here in just a second. Pretty cool of him to swing by. Mark is a legend in the sports handicapping world. This guy is the dean. He is known all across in Vegas, all across the country as a guy that is very well respected, and especially since sports betting is becoming legal in many, many states around the country, and it's only going to continue to grow. It's going to be pretty cool that we have a chance to be able to speak with him. So I'm stoked. I really am. Hey, guys, so we're so excited because it's not often that you get a legend to join you on the telephone, but that's exactly what we have now. And when I mean legend, he's the guy that wrote the book on sports handicapping. I'm telling you, there is nobody more well-respected in the industry than Mark Lawrence from Playbook.com. He joins us now via the Miami Acura hotline. And Mark, thanks for taking some time and hanging out with us here today.
Hey, Joe, it's my pleasure as always. Really looking forward to this football season here and my visit with you as well.
Perfect. All right. Well, speaking of football season, it's been a lot of fun. And I'm wondering, when it comes to sports betting, sports handicapping, because I've asked this of a few people and I get some different answers. What has been, so far in the 2 weeks, what has been the biggest surprise for you?
Well, in the world of college football, it's been the disappointment of some new head coaches that have really failed to deliver the goods. We're talking about Chip Kelly at UCLA, Willie Taggart at Florida State, some huge disappointments there that way. You've also got, on the other side of the coin, some college football head coaches that have been new that have really, really excelled. They've done really great jobs. Joe Moorhead at Mississippi State is one. You can also say Herm Edwards has done a pretty good job at Arizona State. So, the question now becomes, will this pattern continue with these teams? I don't think so, but the bottom line here is that they've at least gotten off to respectively bad and good starts.
Yes, that they have. It was funny. I kept hearing how Herm Edwards can't coach and he'd never survive, in the college game, but I think he's doing a pretty good job, Mark.
He's doing a terrific job. He's got these players really psyched up playing his style of football here, and it's been evident in their play so far this season here. 2 big wins at home, goes out on the road and trips up a little bit, if you will, at San Diego State. But nonetheless, I think he's got this football program turned right around, doing a great job, is Herm Edwards.
Playbook.com's Mark Lawrence, at Mark Lawrence. That's how you catch him and reach him here on Twitter. And listen, Mark, Playbook, it's talk to us about, for those that don't know, the history of the Playbook and how you started out in this business, about 6 months ago?
6 months ago would be really kind, given the fact that the Playbook newsletter is now in its 33rd year.
Wow.
Yes, 33 years with the newsletter. In fact, I've been in this industry for over 40 years myself, and seen a lot along the ways. I mean, I'm going back to the Woody Hayes days at Ohio State and Bo Schembechler, to what we're dealing with here right now. The current young coaches and the new style of football in both the college and National Football League as well. So I've loved it. I've loved all the changes we've seen. The college football playoffs right now, I think, is exciting. It's a long time coming, but really, really well worth it. It's a nice little plum for the players to play for. So a lot of good things have happened along the ways in my 40 years in this industry.
40 years, Mark. Did you ever think you'd get to the point where here we are talking about an NHL team partnering up with a sports book and legalized sports betting in other places outside of Nevada? Did you ever think we'd get to this point?
Well, I certainly hoped we would, and it's nice to see that prohibition is over in sports gambling. That's really nice to see the Supreme Court overturn that decision here. It was a really manipulated decision that they had done. They tacked it onto the back of a Port Authority bill, just to get that through. But nonetheless, the Supreme Court overruled it, makes legalized sports wagering now a here and now thing, and we're really looking forward to everybody getting on the same page with this. Right now, each state is running with its own mandate, but I'd sure love to see the federal government come in and legislating this over the course of all states, so that we would have one set of rules that everybody could play by, rather than having each state set their own rules how to play these games and to regulate everything. But nonetheless, legalized sports wagering is here, and we're really, really excited about it.
And what about what happened? And it's mind-blowing to me that FanDuel would have opted to try and not pay the gentleman that laid the bet on a 750-to-1 shot. He ended up winning it, but they originally said they weren't going to pay him because there might have been a glitch on the screen or the odds were wrong. And I've talked to some other professional bettors who say that kind of thing would never happen in Las Vegas. It would only happen, of course, where they're just trying to start out with sports betting in New Jersey. That's not the norm, right? I mean, is that true? Would you ever see something like that happen in Las Vegas at a sports book?
I have myself never heard of anything like that, but I've also heard that it has happened in the past, maybe not to the degree that it happened with FanDuel. But, the bottom line, Joe, is, FanDuel is a new player in the business, in the industry, and they do not need black eyes, bad publicity to begin their venture in this road. So, I think they need to pay this guy off. and let everybody know that, hey, we're here for you. These are the rules, and come and play by them, and we will treat you right. So they don't need bad publicity to start that way in this new venture here. FanDuel, DraftKings is going to be a sports book here as well. So it's an exciting time, but they need to treat the players right.
Mark Lawrence joining us. As a matter of fact, Mark, as you're speaking, it's popping up that I'm being told that they did agree to pay him today. So I guess the cooler heads prevailed, and they realized that it's give him the $82K instead of a steak dinner and a couple of Giants tickets. So, and that's good. I mean, that's good for everybody involved.
Yeah, that's $82,000 of publicity that they could have spent to try to get people. They spent it. They did it the right way. Okay, so good for them and good for the guy holding that ticket for sure.
Playbook.com at Mark Lawrence. That's how you reach him here on Twitter. Mark, I get a lot of questions from people now that it's becoming legalized in many states. I've got a lot of people that were either recreational bettors that want to kind of step it up, and then I've got a bunch of people who've never bet on sports going, where do I go? There's so much, for lack of a better, there's so much crap on the internet, and everybody's a guaranteed 80% winner or 90% winner. Trying to navigate the seas of where to go and get the information for betting on sports, what would you suggest for these folks?
Well, I've lived through this now for 40 years, Joe. A lot of bad seeds in this industry. It still is an unregulated industry. So you get these clowns, these scam decappers that come out of the woodwork and purport these wild claims. And if it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. The truth of the matter is there's a right way and a wrong way to do this stuff. It's really tough to overcome 11 to 10 odds in wagering. And to do that, you have to win 52.4% of your bets just to break even. In the same vein here, I want to pass this along to you that we are launching a new site called Sports Data University, where we are going to be conducting classes on responsible sports wagering, teaching people how to do things the right way, teaching people how to gain edges, where we're holding live classes where they can sit in with experts and do things like that. So if you get a chance, you can check that out. It's Sports Data University. It's on our website at sportsdata.com. It's in a beta mode right now, but it's coming here real soon, and it's going to be a real exciting project. We're looking forward to that.
So almost even like taking an online class. That's kind of what you got going on there.
That's exactly what it is. You go online to earn degrees for education, and we're going to be doing the same thing for sports wagering to teach people how to do things the right way. What the NBA does not need, they don't need people betting on their games, losing their houses, their wives, becoming addicted to the sport. It's not going to be a good image for the NBA. In fact, I had a conversation with Adam Silver about this, and he concurs that there needs to be some platform for legalized sports wagering, responsible sports wagering. So, I listened to him, and we're going to do just that. We'll be launching sportsdata.com here in the very near future.
Love that. At Mark Lawrence joining us. And Mark, are we close to the days of, like at Wembley, where you can, at halftime or in between quarters, you can run down to the kiosk and bet the second half? I mean, are we that close to that happening here in the States?
Very close. What's going to happen, Joe, to make this thing a home run for everybody is all sports wagering is going to basically, when I say all, I'm going to talk to the majority, is going to occur on apps, sports apps or kiosks, where people are going to have easy access to make their plays instead of having to drive down to, let's say, Gulfstream Park, if and when that comes to be the case. Get in line and make your plays there that way. People love convenience, and they're going to be able to do all their sports wagering on their telephone, on an app, with the sports book right on their app. That's what we're going to see here. And also, but the advent of in-game wagering is here right now as well. That's the most, in fact, the truth of the matter is there's more handle in Las Vegas on in-game wagering than there is betting the game itself these days. People just love the action. They love getting on the games and being able to bet play-by-play on exactly what's going to happen and how the game's going to unfold. So, there's a lot of nuances to that, and, people are going to have to learn how to become in-game wagering specialists as well. And that's what we're going to end up having to teach people at sportsdata.com.
And that's why it's so important, and I'm so glad you agreed to come on, because we get so many questions about people on what direction to go. And it's, if you're going to do this, then you need to do it the right way and get surrounded by the people who have been doing it for 30-some-odd years that understand the nuances. So, you ultimately have to decide for yourself what's good and what's not good. But when you have guys that you can follow like Mark Lawrence, you're on the right track to becoming a very responsible sports bettor. And really, at the end of the day, like you said, the NBA, MLB, and that's what they need. They need responsible sports bettors, not the other shoe to drop.
Unquestionably, that's what's going to make it work for everybody. And in the 40 years that I've been in business, our MO at Playbook has been to help teaching people to make informed decisions, and that's exactly what we're all about. So, we do this basically because if we teach people how to become successful at sports wagering, it's like teaching people how to fish. Rather than throwing a fish to them and let them eat a meal, we'd rather have them learn how to become a good fisherman, learn how to really approach the game the proper way, because that'll keep you in the game longer. It'll be more profitable, and you'll enjoy it in the end.
Mark Lawrence joining us. All right, I got to ask before I let you go here one question. There was a parlay winner, William Hill, Vegas, 84,000 and change, ended up picking the entire damn card correct. And I've got to ask you, man, when you get to that Monday night game, he had Chicago, but as a bettor, as a professional bettor, Mark, are you borrowing as much money as you can to hedge that bet on Seattle, or are you going, you know what, I'm 14 for 14, I've already picked Chicago, I'm going to stay with Chicago?
Well, I'll say this first of all, Joe. If you're playing 14-team parlays, you probably don't have the resources to hedge that bet. Okay?
Oh, man. That is. But if you do, you got 14, how do you play that? Like, what do you do on that Monday night game?
Well, obviously you need to hedge and guarantee a profit, because that's what we're in this for, is guaranteeing profits, making profits. So you have to draw a profit out of that. You have to end up betting the other side of that game to guarantee yourself some money in the process as well. So use all your resources, do just that, take that profit, put it in your pocket, and live for another day.
That's it. That's the best $5 lotto ticket that guy's ever going to win, that's for sure. Mark Lawrence, do yourself a favor. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, at Mark Lawrence, playbook.com. And coming soon, the online school about becoming a professional, responsible handicapper. And Mark, where can they go for that?
That's sportsdata.com. Sportsdata.com. Check out the university there. It'll be up and operating in about 30 days.
Looking so forward to that. Mark, thanks so very much for stopping by, my friend. I look forward to doing this again.
Hey, my pleasure as always, Joe. Enjoy the games. Let's hope the ball bounces our way.
There he is, Mark Lawrence, America's favorite handicapper. Love that. Love that he took the time to come out. Check him out. Playbook.com is how you reach him. There is a lot of crap out there when it comes to sports handicapping. The amount of, what do you call them, scammy cappers or something along those lines. Yeah, there's a lot of people promising a whole lot that they can never and will never deliver upon. So I'm glad we had a chance to actually talk to him, and the NBA has got a point. And he's talking with Adam Silver about the last thing you need for these professional leagues is, now that gambling is going to be legalized, you can't have these stories coming out on how a guy lost his marriage, his house, he lost his car because he was betting on games in your league. That is not the kind of publicity the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball is going to want. So it's very true. Something has got to happen where there is some regulation to the industry. Otherwise, you're going to have anybody that can, hop on the internet and promise you, all these winners. Well, it's going to go hard left quickly. So I'm glad that there are guys like Mark Lawrence. It sounds really cool. The online school that he's going to be putting together. We'll keep you posted as the information comes available, because if you're looking to Listen, if you're looking to make it a little side action, you're looking to become either recreational when it comes to betting on sports, or if you're looking maybe to step up your game, then guys like Mark Lawrence or WagerTalk.com, these are the kinds of places that you need to go and hang around with, because these are the guys that know what they're doing and are invested in your success. So keep that in mind as you start looking around on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and you start seeing all of these people that are guaranteeing you all sorts of money and all sorts of wins. It doesn't happen that way. Unless, of course, you listen to my picks, which I'm going to give you here coming up in just about 7 minutes. Top of the hour, I'm going to have the 3-team parlay for tonight. You don't want to miss that. Also, there are a few games this weekend on Sunday that you're going to want to keep an eye on, because the line movement so far, boy, oh boy, some craziness going on with the NFL for Sunday's games. I'll tell you which 3 games to pick tonight in the parlay, and I'll tell you which 3 games that you got to pick on Sunday if you want to make some money. But you already know I'm full of shit, so I don't have to put a disclosure there. But I will break the games down for you, let you know exactly what's happening. But first, got to let you know and want to thank our good friends over at Miami Acura. If you are in the market for a new car, if you are thinking about this weekend, you know what, I got to get this honey-do list done, I've got to go and get this car, she wants to go car shopping, and I want to sit home and watch the games. If that's the case, there's only one place to go. That is Miami Acura. And take a test drive, the all-new 2019 RDX. It's on South Dixie Highway, Palmetto Bay. For those of you in the 305 and 954, you know where it is. Simply head towards Kendall. You can't miss it. 855-564-4669. Love the car. Love the deals they got going on right now. You really have to go take it for a test drive. You're going to be thoroughly impressed. So if you got to go out car shopping this weekend, make it one place on the stop and then go home and get ready for the night games. It's Miami Acura. 855-564-4669. That is 855-564-4669. You gotta love it. When we come back, I'll give you the 3 teams tonight, the parlay that is absolutely going to make you some money, including who's going to win the FAU UCF matchup. That game, too, just a couple of hours away. We will do that as soon as we get back from another word from our sponsors.
Where do you want to go on a vacation or honeymoon? The Caribbean, Europe, Hawaii, Mexico? How about Disney or a cruise? At Superior Cruise and Travel, we've got you covered. We'll assign you your own travel concierge. They'll help you design a custom vacation plan that you can't find online. And the service is completely free. You can't compare the value of this to any other online travel company. We can help you plan a custom vacation anywhere in the world. We even offer payment plans with no credit card required. Now you pay off your vacation on your time schedule. Call now and mention the promo code RADIO and save up to $500. Book your custom trip. Call Superior Cruise and Travel now and talk to one of the highest-rated travel agencies in the country with a 5-star A+ online rating.
800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. That's 800-901-5536.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A+ rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. That's 800-898-0816.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients medications with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain. What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Call 855-720-BACK. 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 That's 855-720-BACK.
Don't be such a pussy. Subscribe to the Say It With Me podcast with Joe Ranieri on iTunes today.
Damn. Girl laying it down here. Just laying it down. Where is my video here? Here it is. One of my favorites.
He's got a couple.
Ooh. Oh, boy.
And that'll draw a flag.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't know. You used to be able to just wipe your ass in a football game with the ball and there'd be no harm, no foul. But apparently it is the no fun league, and that is what happens. You're not allowed to go ahead and use the football as toilet paper anymore. Isaiah Crowell for the New York Jets last night after he scored, I believe that was his second touchdown against his former team. Well, the flags came out, and boy, oh boy, people were getting all bent out of shape. How disgusting. How terrible. Oh, boy, it's a no fun league. You know, you should be allowed to wipe your ass with a football, okay, after you score a touchdown. If you don't want me to wipe my ass with the football, then keep me out of the end zone. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong there, but maybe the last place that I want to see political correctness is on a damn football field again. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. We're going to make you some money here coming up in just a minute. Going to tell you what the three-team parlay for tonight is. UCF, FAU going head-to-head. Penn State taking on Illinois, and then, of course, tonight we got Washington State taking on USC. Clay Helton needs a win, has to have a win at USC, or it's going to be a long, long night for them. Do want to see, what do we got here? We got all sorts of people chiming in. Vari chiming in, telling us that I like Houston. I like the over in Houston at Texas Tech. All right, not a bad. It's an interesting game there. You've got two teams that can score probably 100 points apiece. Not bad. Absolutely not bad there. I do kind of like that pick. And before you... And I'm already getting it on Twitter and social media. I'm already hearing it too. So yes, guys, I know the Jets lost. Sam Darnold was less than spectacular. I had to deal with this last night, which was not great, which kind of annoyed me.
Off the edge, little trick play and a throw to Baker Mayfield to tie the game from Jarvis Landry.
Yes, I know. The Cleveland Browns haven't won a game since Clinton was president or something along those lines. Obama, it's been 600 days. I know. Listen, Cleveland, kudos to the Cleveland Browns. Too good a team. Honestly, if the New York Jets had 48 number one picks over the last 2 years, then I'm thinking they might have been able to roster some pretty good people too as well. But let's not forget, the Jets are 10-24 over the last couple of years, and the idea that Sam Darnold would come in and just flip a switch here on this organization's not fair. We talked to Russell Baxter, ProFootballGuru.com. We talked to him a little bit earlier. Listen, they've got real players on defense. They also have some real players on offense. Jarvis Landry stepped up his game last night. Carlos Hyde stepped up his game. Everybody on that team stepped up the minute that Baker Mayfield came in the game, which is perfect. It's kind of hard not to root for Baker Mayfield, right? I mean, the kid he bounced around Texas Tech, Oklahoma, was told he wasn't going to start. The kid is a fighter. I think he's perfect for the community in Cleveland. He's perfect for the Browns. He's pretty damn accurate with the ball, and he's able to he has no problem being able to get himself out of situations he shouldn't be in and making something happen. And I thought the coaching staff, Hugh Jackson, they did a great job of taking the training wheels off and allowing him to throw the damn ball, throw it downfield. I can't say the same for what Jeremy Bates and Todd Bowles did with Sam Darnold for 3 games now. It appears they just won't take the training wheels off, and it's like screen heaven with Sam Darnold. They think they're going to out-screen everybody. They kept running the same damn play to Quincy Enunwa last night. It worked a couple of times, but how many screens do you think you're going to be able to get away with? I mean, at some point, you've got to let Sam Darnold, whether it's an interception or not, you got to let the guy throw the damn ball down the field, all right? You can't keep treating him like he's a little pussy boy and that he can't handle more than two-step drop, three-step drop, hurry up, quick outs to the outside. There's got to be more there. You've got to be able to get more going on. So just my opinion. That's what I'm going to say. But the Jets, listen, bottom line is they are 1-2. That was 3 games in 11 days on a young team. They're going to have some time off. So let's see what happens here moving forward. The Jets are not going to be a walk in a park for anybody anytime soon. So we'll keep an eye on what the Jets do moving forward. We've got some games tonight, and I wanted to also get you this story. I don't know if you guys had seen this, and let me just check some. Let me make sure that this is still going on here. So hold on one second. Let's see. Is he still here? Yeah, we still got them in there. Okay, so there was a report last night, and I don't know if you guys heard this, but it doesn't surprise me, speaking of sports wagering. There is a report out that Mayweather, right? Mayweather, did you guys hear that he was rumored that he wants to come back and he wants to fight Manny Pacquiao again? Like, who in the hell is going to watch that fight? Like, who in their right mind would spend another $100 to watch these two over-the-hill crazy bastards, like, throw punches? I wouldn't do it. I mean, it was bad enough I had to watch and spend money on the whole, UFC. What's it? Why am I can't remember his name for some reason? But Mayweather and what's his face there? You know exactly who I'm talking about with UFC. I can't imagine having to watch or having to spend hard-earned money watching Mayweather take on Pacquiao again. But it looks like it's going to happen, and the reason why it's going to happen, the rumor is that Mayweather has been racking up some serious gambling debt, and that, believe it or not, it's because he needs the money. Now, how many of you would have thought that Mayweather would be running out of money? I mean, this is a guy that carries around suitcases of cash with him when he drives around town with his group there. So this is not a guy that you would think would run out of cash, especially a guy that made $100 million in that fight just, 6 months ago, a year ago when it was. So, but the fact is that what's being reported is that he's possibly down $50 million this year, $50 million in gambling debt, that being Floyd Mayweather, which would explain why it is that we're getting Mayweather-Pacquiao rumors back and forth. Keep that in mind. $50 million in the hole he has lost gambling on sports thus far this year, which is crazy when I tell you crazy. Think about being $50 million in the hole. Hell yeah, you got to go back. Conor McGregor, by the way, thank you very much for you guys there. Thank you, Tony, on Twitter. Yes, you made $100 million there, and you already lost half of it. So, and if you keep pissing away money like that, then guess what, guys? He's going to have to fight Pacquiao from now. He's going to have to fight him every year if he's going to keep going with that. But yeah, kind of crazy. Mayweather-Pacquiao, because Mayweather is losing money. He's losing betting on sports. So don't take any picks from Floyd Mayweather, all right? Hang out here with us. We're going to get you all squared away. Let's see what Vari's got here. Vari's talking about that Penn State game. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about tonight's game. We've got FAU taking on UCF, all right? 7 o'clock, ESPN is that game. And UCF opened up 13.5-point favorite. The over-under total, and this is where it gets interesting. The over-under total in this has been all over the map. It's gone up. It's come back down. But UCF has been a very popular bet all week. As a matter of fact, 75% of the bettors have bet on UCF. And it opened up at 13.5. It went to 14. Then it's back at 13.5. So the line hasn't moved an awful lot. But it did go from 67 to 77, that being the over-under. So it opened up at 67, and then, of course, the bookmakers were getting about 70% of the bets and 77% of the dollars on the over, so they went ahead and leveraged it. Now it's at 75, 76, even 77 in some books. So there is, you're looking at a lot of points being scored here with these two teams. UCF hasn't allowed a sack in 2 games that they've played here. But keep in mind, the UCF game against North Carolina was canceled last week because of Hurricane Florence. So the UCF Knights have had 13 days off from their last game. And the reason why that is an interesting statistic is because the trend tells us that since 2005, ranked home favorites with more than 10 days rest have gone 57% against the spread. So they cover 57% of the time. And that is exactly what you have here. It doesn't happen very often, but you have UCF home favorite ranked. They haven't played in 13 days because their game against North Carolina was canceled. So it's the team usually on extended rest. And this is another interesting, which is where I think, Vari, the bet should be, is you should look at the first half numbers here. Teams that have extended rest are 24, 33, and 1 against the first half spread. And you've got to take into consideration the rust, not having played in 13 days, no rhythm. They do end up covering in the long run, but usually in the first half, their numbers aren't great. So it's worth keeping an eye on the first half numbers. However many you think they're going to score, or however many you think they are better than FAU, keep in mind that there's a good chance all of the scoring, the majority of the scoring is going to happen in the second half for UCF. History tells us, the trends tell us that those teams with a 13, 14-day layoff in between games, it takes them a little while to shake off the rust and get going. These are two very high-powered offensive teams who don't play an awful lot of defense. Listen, both of these sides have had different coaching staff changes, different players. FAU is not the team a lot of people thought it was going to be so far this year. I do happen to like, listen, if you can get FAU at 14 or better, 14 and a half, I would consider taking FAU. But to me, the over, if you can get the over 72 or 73, I do think we are going to see 20 points a team in the first half, and I think we're going to get just as many in the second half. This feels like an 80, 85-point night. So if you can get an over at 72 or 73, that's the direction that I would go for the UCF FAU game. Look at the over. That is probably a pretty good way to go, since neither one of these teams, although Central Florida is actually not bad on defense, I just don't think we're going to see an awful lot of defense here tonight. You're going to see a lot of up-tempo, and UCF, once they shrug off the rust from not having played in almost 2 weeks, you are going to see them light up the scoreboard in the second half. The second game, Vari, that you and I know, Vari's all over the place. He loves this, Vari. Vari loves his Penn State, his Nittany Lions. You got Penn State at Illinois. Penn State, 27.5-point favorite. The total is 60 in this game. This is 9 o'clock tonight on Fox Sports 1. Bettors are pretty much evenly split on this game. The money that has come in thus far this week has only moved it maybe a point in Penn State's favor, meaning that I have seen it as high as 28, them being a 4-touchdown favorite, to as low as 26. Right now, it's at 27.5. The over is what has actually seen the bigger line change. The dollars have come in on the over. So right now, they went from 57.5 to 60. 64% of the bets, 72% of the money is coming in on the over in this game. And right now, it's at 60, the over-under. So keep this in mind. I think Penn State has got that situation where they may be looking ahead to next week, which is Ohio State. Illinois is a step up in competition here. They are actually a pretty halfway decent team. Penn State has not offensively been what many people thought they were going to be. Trace McSorley is only completing about 51% of his passes so far. So it's not a great spot for Penn State Friday night. And the trend that stuck out to me in this game is that two conference teams face off non-Saturday. The under has hit 58% of the time. That's right, 58% of the time. So you've got two conference teams here not playing on a Saturday. It's a Friday night, and usually what happens there is the under is the right play. So if this game was played or when these types of games are played in October, the under is even better. The under is over 61%. So keep in mind that this game on a Friday night is not as if it was being played on a Saturday. The trend tells us that, yep, they're not a great offense, Penn State. The defense will step up. Illinois is not exactly they got people suspended. They've got hurt. It's kind of hard to measure what Lovie Smith has got going on there in Illinois. But if you were going to look at this game, I don't know that they're four touchdown favorites, 28. I would look at Illinois, and I would look at the under in this game if I was you. So, Vari, I'm with you. I think 27.5 is just way too high, especially for a Friday night game. And the fact that Penn State is going to be looking ahead till next week when they take on Ohio State. So I like the under, and I like Penn State not to cover in this game. I just think that's way, way, way too much. So... and the game is the line is it's been around 4 touchdowns all week long. Also, keep this in mind: ranked teams and favorites. Okay, on non-Saturday games in prime time. Yeah, we got a lot of people. It doesn't look good for Penn State, the favorites there. They only cover about 46% of the time. So the numbers and the trends all point towards Illinois. Take the 28 points. And if the number is 60-61 over under, then definitely go with the under. And then the last game tonight is Washington State at USC. USC has not been able to cover anything in its first 3 games. They're 0-3. I don't want to say it's a must-win game, but I'll be damned if it's not a must-win game for the USC Trojans here. They have to be able to pull off a victory at some point in the game. Will they do it tonight against Washington State? USC is laying 5. The total is 51. I don't like Clay Helton. I think he's way overvalued. I think he's in over his head. I don't like his coaching. I like his recruiting even less. It's not good. Teams who have not covered or spread in a season, and if they are listed as home favorites in a conference game, they're 40%. They're 40% covering the spread. This is 4.5, 5 points for USC. I just don't see it happening. I get a better coach team, and I've got a USC team and I also have trends in my favor, but I've got a USC team who hasn't covered, who is pointing a lot of fingers. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they're missing their 2 starting safeties, Isaiah Palomao, shoulder surgery, and Bubba Bolden is on suspension. So they're going to be a little bit light in the secondary. They've also got some issues on the defensive line. So I'm just telling you, if you're gonna spend the money here tonight, Washington State, to me, is a better way to go. I don't think there is any way that USC is 5 points better than Washington State. I just don't see it. Yes, it is at USC. They're on home, but it's not as if Washington State is coming from New York and flying out to the Coliseum. It's not that far a distance to travel for Washington State. Keeping it in the Pac-12, I'm all for Washington State. So if you're looking for a parlay tonight, it's very simple. Take the over if you can get it, 71-72. Take the over in FAU, or take FAU if you can get plus 14 or better against UCF. Take Illinois getting the points, 28 points. Take the points. There's no way Penn State's going to beat them by 4 touchdowns. And then in the night game, be all over Washington State. Washington State getting 5.5, whatever you get. Definitely take Illinois taking the 28 points and take the over in the FAU UCF game. And then tomorrow or Monday when we talk again, you can congratulate me, cash the ticket, do it. I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen tonight. Win those 3 games. When we come back, I'm going to go ahead and lay out just a little more information for you in the NFL. I've got 3 games that are a must-play in the NFL. I will share those with you. We'll do that coming up next. But first, got to get a little love for our sponsors. And if you guys haven't done so, please support the sponsors. They make this happen each and every day during the week, 4 p.m. when we go live. So if you want to jot a number down here, throw a little love. If you happen to be looking to travel anytime soon, or maybe you're looking for a car, these are definitely low-cost airlines, Superior Cruise and Travel, and, of course, Miami Acura. Jot those numbers down. Show them a little love. Tell them that you heard it here on The Joe Ranieri Show, WTF Sports TV. We'll be back with your locks in the NFL coming up 3 minutes.
Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. That's 800-293-0328.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. That's 800-761-1427.
Get ready to talk sports. It's the Say It With Me podcast. Now, here's your host, Joe Ranieri.
Happy Friday to you. Welcome in. Thank you so very much for stopping by, spending some time with me. Monday through Friday, we do it here at WTF Sports TV. You can get us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We got a phone number up here, too, 855-WTF-2255. We always want to hear your thoughts, comments. Bring it. Certainly tell me who are your locks for the weekend. Who do you guys like? And please, don't forget, share the love, subscribe, tell your friends. Want to grow this thing to the point where, listen, this is us. We don't need no stinking, ridiculous, monopolized media companies. We've got you. The internet is free, at least in parts of it, and we get to hang out with you each and every weekday, 4 p.m. here on Twitter, of course, Facebook and YouTube. And those of you guys that are hanging out with me here, Vari and Jeremy and Ralph, along with Tony over on YouTube and, of course, on Twitter. We love you guys. We welcome you. Thank you very much for the support. I know, Jeremy, we got a little brewing fight going on here between our boy Vari and Jeremy, who apparently Jeremy thinks that the Raiders are not going to win. And the one thing, Jeremy, you never do is when you're talking to a Raider fan, tell them how they're not going to win the game. Yeah, here's what we got going on here. And then, of course, because Vari, that's it, man. He will cut you. He got no problem doing it, man. He will absolutely cut you. There is a battle brewing in the chat room on Facebook Live. If you guys haven't done so, join it. We obviously we get all sorts of comments going on in there. We get all sorts of crazy-ass people calling from all over the world. You never know exactly what's going to happen here on the Joe Ranieri Show weekdays at 4 o'clock. All right. Now, if you're just joining us here, I gave you my 3-team parlay tonight. So let me go over it one more time for you because for kickoff is at 7 o'clock. You are looking at the FAU-UCF over game. And really, anything short of 80, take the over. 74, 75, 76, take the over. There's going to be plenty of points scored there. In game number 2, take 28 points. Take the 4 touchdowns. That would be Illinois getting 4 touchdowns against Penn State. Penn State is already looking ahead to Ohio State. I can assure you of that. They're not taking this team seriously, and there is no way that offense with a quarterback, McSorley, who's not even completing 51% of his passes, they are not going to light up a Lovie Smith Illinois team, although they've got some issues themselves, but they are certainly a step above Appalachian State, so, and they almost lost Appalachian State. So I don't think that Penn State is 28 points better than the fighting Illinois there. So go ahead and take Penn State. And then the night game, the late game tonight, you've got USC hosting Washington State, and that it's a poorly coached team. It has been. I've never been a big fan of Clay Helton at USC. I always thought the guy was in way over his head, thinking that he's got absolutely no chance of being able to take this program, the historic USC program, taking it up a notch. I think you can see it in the recruiting and the players that he's got there. And now you got Chip Kelly out there that's competing and recruiting against you at UCLA. I'm not a big believer in USC. They haven't won a game. They haven't covered. They are in a must-win situation, but I don't think they have the horses to be able to take down Washington State, who still has to prove that they belong. I mean, beating up Wyoming, who's an awful team, and then beating up Portland State or some crap along those lines. We've got to see what they've got. We'll see it tonight, but I do think they're going to have enough to at least cover, if not win this game. So take Washington State +5, all right? So FAU over. Take Illinois, take Washington State. That's your 3-team parlay tonight. That is going to win some money. Yeah, listen, I'm with you, man. Jack Del Rio might very well be a hell of a head coach for USC. Just saying it. Just throwing it out there. All right, let's talk some NFL here, guys, if we can, for just a minute here while I scratch my leg. Let's talk about a couple of games that stood out to me this weekend. And I know Miami and the Raiders. I'll give you the trends in that game, and I think maybe we'll start there because we've already got a battle going on when it comes to our chat rooms as far as Miami and Oakland. So let me tell you some of the statistics here that are either going to make your day or hurt your day. So let me tell you what's going on. The trends to know is that here's what we do know. Wins over the Jets and the Titans they're not staple wins if you're the Miami Dolphins. So I know Dolphin fans are excited because by all expectations, the Dolphins should already be 0-2. They wouldn't win 6 games this year. So the fact that they're 2-0, they're exceeding a lot of people's expectations. But let's slow the roll on how good they are just because they beat the Tennessee Titans with a one-arm Marcus Mariota in a 9-hour affair, and they beat a rookie quarterback with the New York Jets. Their wins none the same, but let's not get crazy here. But here's what you need to know. Since 2003, teams like Miami that failed to make the playoffs the year before, and then they start the season with a winning record and favored in the next game, they've gone 193, 251, and 16. So what that means is that they cover only 43% of the time. So Miami didn't make the playoffs last year. We've got that. They have a winning record right now, 2-0. And they're favored in their next game being against the Oakland Raiders. They're a 3-point favorite at home. Those teams in this exact same situation only cover about 43% of the time. Also keep this in mind. Through 2 weeks, the Raiders are averaging only 16 points per game. That's the 5th fewest in the NFL, guys. Raider fans, Rory, all right, Vari, I want you to know that. That is the 5th fewest in the NFL. And 2 consecutive unders for John Gruden and company have now been covered by the Raiders. So if you are betting the under, and if you have bet the under in the Raiders game the first 2 weeks, you're cashing. Here's maybe the most disturbing trend that I came across that I wanted to share with guys like Vori, and I'm so sorry here, Vori, because this is not going to make your day. But over Derek Carr's past 9 games as a starter, okay, his last 9 games, the Raiders are 2-7 straight up and only average 15.2 points per game. And oh, by the way, Derek Carr's past 9 starts, the under has cashed in every time. And it not just barely. The under has cashed in all 9 times by an average of 7 points per game. So they're not even coming close. Derek Carr is an under machine. So you guys realize that. Since the start of the 2017 season, the under 13-4 when Carr starts. That is the most profitable NFL quarterback in the under over the last couple of years. So Derek Carr and the under, you guys are cashing in left and right. Just letting you know that. So the one thing about the Dolphins you can't ignore their efficiency right now. They rank number 2 in rushing success and number 11 in passing success. So they're a top 5 in both rushing and passing on defense as well. So these guys, what they have done better than anybody else right now, and certainly better than the Raiders, is that their efficiency and their ability to be able to get that first down or stop that other team on 3rd and 2 has been ridiculous. They are very, very, very good at some of the metrics that matter, and that, of course, being the efficiency. They are able to get that 3rd and a yard. They are able to stop the team from getting that 3rd and 3 and forcing a punt. So Miami can't go wrong with what they have done from a metric standpoint. However, the most interesting part of this trend is definitely the fact that the Raiders, that Derek Carr, his last 9 games have all hit the under, and by 7 points. Yes, I know. Some of the other trends to note. The Raiders are on the second leg of a back-to-back as a road dog. Okay, so when teams lose the first of those 2 games, the public will usually fade them, and then they've won almost 60% against the spread. They have covered 60% in this particular situation since the 2003 year. And that's exactly the situation the Raiders are in. They are on back-to-back as road dogs. They lost the first game. This is the second game. And in this particular situation, a lot of money coming in on Miami, a lot of money not coming in on the Raiders. Those teams, they cover 60% of the time in this game. So that's a check mark for you Raider fans. Non-playoff teams from the previous year, not necessarily to be trusted the following year. when the public backs a non-playoff favorite, which is what the public is doing right now in this Miami game, and they have a winning record, which they do, 2-0, those teams, 44% against the spread since 2003. So when you break it all down here, guys, the under with Derek Carr sounds like a winner, does it not? The under being 44.5, not a bad way to look at it. And also, playoff teams that we gave you the trends here for the Raiders. These all tend to back the Raiders being able to take advantage of this game in Miami. So the under and Miami, do what you want with those trends, but just keep in mind, Derek Carr, 9 for his past 9 in the under. Just throwing that out there for you so you know. Right? Now, does that make you feel any better there, Vari? Let's see. Vari, repeat. Oh, my God. Okay. No, I know. See, that's what you got to love about Raiders, guys. They don't care about the numbers. They don't care about the trends. They simply care about their team being able to win and kick some ass. I hear you, Vari. Let's go to, let me see here, just to make sure that any of the line movements, nothing crazy has happened here over the last couple of minutes. If you guys are just joining us, welcome in. The name, the show, Joe Ranieri, and we broadcast you live 4 o'clock Monday through Friday here on Twitter. If you're joining us there, the Periscope peeps, what's up? YouTube, and of course Facebook. Although tread lightly in Facebook, we've got Dolphin and Raider fans doing battle in there, which is always fun to watch these guys go at each other. Just keep an eye on them. Pretty good stuff. But it's going to be a fun weekend in sports, not to mention the college football games tonight. You got 3 games on slate tonight. We got a whole lot of games tomorrow in college, and then of course, well, the big one tomorrow, of course, Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher taking on Alabama and Nick Saban. What's going to happen there? I wouldn't go near that game. It's very hard for me to bet against Alabama. I think the number is still a little bit high, but Alabama just looks unbeatable. They look like a semi-pro, minor league NFL team at this point, which they do every year. So until they lose or until they show me that there is a little bit of weakness going on there, I'm trying to stay away from as many double-digit Alabama games as possible in which they are favored, and they are. Now, the NFL games on Sundays. We just gave you the statistics for the Miami-Oakland game as far as the trends go. And maybe the most glaring is that Derek Carr, 9 for his last 9 in the under. Just saying, 44.5. Keep an eye on that. There are some interesting storylines in the NFL. Number one, we've got the return of Carson Wentz. So he will be taking over the quarterback position for the Eagles this weekend. He was cleared to play. They're ready to go. No more backup quarterback situation there, even though he won you a Super Bowl. And you've got a lot of members of the public, a lot of bettors are going. Where do you want to guess they're going? Yeah, a lot of money with the whole idea of the return of Carson Wentz is being laid on the Philadelphia Eagles as we speak. But here is the deal. I have a pretty simple strategy when it comes to grading movies, and I think that same strategy works pretty well this Sunday. And what I mean by that is that any movie that has ever had return in the title has usually been a piece of shit movie. Can we all agree on that, right? Anytime I hear return of, like Superman Returns, The Mummy Returns, Return of the King, Return of the Jedi, usually when movies have return in them, they end up sucking beyond sucking. I mean, would you guys agree with that? Because it usually happens. And the same thing, I think, I'm going to apply this logic when it comes to the return of Carson Wentz. And that's all we've been hearing all week is the return of Carson Wentz. He hasn't seen any real action since he shredded his knee week 14 of last season. And the public doesn't care because all they hear, no more Nick Foles, all they hear is Carson Wentz, and they think, well, Carson Wentz is back. It's guaranteed that we're going to be able to win this game. Yeah, no. And by the way, they're taking on the Indianapolis Colts. So I don't buy that the spread should be anywhere around 6 or 7, and that's where it's been going. You're looking at the Eagles being a 6 or 7 point favorite here, and I don't know why. It's a little bit beyond me. It makes absolutely no sense, especially since a guy who has missed that much time and going live in action, not knowing whether or not he can trust his knee. Yeah, I think giving that guy this much credit is a bit dangerous. So, although the argument can be that Andrew Luck made his return after missing the entire 2017 season with shoulder issues, and they were a home favorite against Cincinnati. They ended up losing that game. But I got to tell you here, they are a better team with Wentz as quarterback. I get that. But I don't believe that they're going to be that much better of a team to the point where 6 or 7 points, you're going to give Indianapolis 6 or 7 points. Yeah, no, not with Carson Wentz returning. So to me, I love Indianapolis in this game. Getting 7, it's been bouncing back and forth, 6 to 7. If you can get 7, and it'll be interesting to see if some of the sharp money starts coming in late, will that number be driven up to maybe 7.5? But to me, I can't bet on Carson Wentz returning and lighting up, going head-to-head against Andrew Luck and battling. Meanwhile, Andrew Luck's got a couple of games under his belt. He's been throwing it really, really well, and the public loves Carson Wentz. I like being a contrarian. I like the fact that the Colts, you're going to give me Andrew Luck, who I think is in better shape, is probably the better quarterback right now. I'll take the better quarterback with the weapons, not to mention almost everybody is hurt in the Philadelphia lineup. Jay Ajayi looks like he's going to be out. They only have a couple of wide receivers. What's his face? Alshon Jeffrey is not back yet. So it's not like he's coming back loaded with weapons. He does have Jason Peters back. I'm talking about Carson Wentz and the offensive line, which is always good for any quarterback. But you're giving Andrew Luck way too many points as far as I'm concerned. Way, way, way too many points. What do you guys think? Hit us up here. Always on the show, 855-WTF-2255. It's right over here. That's 855-WTF-2255. I love the Colts getting 7 or more points this weekend. The other game and the other team that I love getting points are the New York Giants, who are also getting 6 points. What's up, Peter? Welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Yes, I love the Giants getting 6 and 7 points, 6.5 points, depending on where you're looking. Deshaun Watson, he's getting better. And this is the perfect point with Deshaun Watson, that it took him the first couple of games to be able to get into rhythm in order for him to be able to compete to what we were used to seeing Deshaun Watson do prior to him blowing his leg out there in midseason last year. So it's taken Deshaun a little time. They were still in that game against the New England Patriots, had a chance to be able to win that game, probably should have won that game. It was a hard-fought game against Tennessee, never easy going to Nashville and playing the Titans there. The Titans defense really clamped down on him. But I love Deshaun Watson. He's only got 8 career NFL starts. He is coming off a life-altering knee injury that would shake any athlete. So is Carson Wentz, for that matter. So I think maybe expectations continue to be too much for Deshaun Watson and his ability here. They were favored big time on the road against the Tennessee Titans last week, and they couldn't get the job done. The Texans' defense, not what we expected. J.J. Watt is a shell of the guy that he used to be. There's only so many back injuries you can have before they start to pile up on you, and there's only so many injections you can get. J.J. Watt is not the same player he was. Jadeveon Clowney is out. There is some issues there. They couldn't beat Blaine Gabbert. All right, I'm throwing that out there. All right, I'm just throwing that out there for you. The Giants, however, I think the Giants is yet to explode with the amount of weapons they have with Odell Beckham Jr., Saquon Barkley. Eli Manning has looked a half a step slower than what he's looked like in the past, but I do think that the Giants' offense is it's too early to write them off. Way too early to write the Giants offense off. Also, I'm not blind to what the Giants defense has done. They have limited the first two opponents to 20 points each, but allowed them to convert on third down just 30% of the time in each of those games. So the Giants, they haven't won, but you know what they've done? You know what that defense has done? And Olivier Vernon, by the way, looks like he's already been ruled out for the Giants. Let me tell you what they've done. They have stayed around and kept bettors and their team in the game. And what I mean by that is that the Giants, while they're trying to figure out this offense, their defense has shown up and given the offense an opportunity to be able to win the game and certainly cover. We saw it week 1 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We witnessed it again last week with the Dallas Cowboys. Even though it felt like Dallas was going to be able to pull away there, the Giants made it a game, and that's what they've been doing. That defense has hung around to give the Giants enough time to be able to get that offense to click. And I think there's an opportunity for the Giants and that offense to be able to click big time against this defense, against the Houston Texans on Sunday. So to me, I think there are just way more weapons on the Giants side. The offense, I don't trust the Texans defense. I actually trust the Giants defense a little better. Giants, you're going to give me 6.5 points. The public loves Deshaun Watson, but I'm telling you, like Carson Wentz, it's going to take a little while for this guy to be able to get back in rhythm. I'm taking the Giants and the points all day long, Vari, all day long. All right? And the final game that I'm going to throw your way in the NFL, Chicago Bears at the Arizona Cardinals. All right, what do I have to say about the Chicago Bears and Arizona Cardinals? Let's see here. The Chicago Bears are laying 6 points on the road at Arizona. Now, the idea is to keep it simple. When it comes to looking at these games, you have to keep it simple. The tried and true method is the KISS method, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Yes, that might actually be the motto for the Arizona Cardinals coming up this week against Chicago. They have a new offensive coordinator, and if you didn't know who's calling the plays there, it's Mike McVay for the Mike McCoy, rather, has been trying to figure out exactly what to do. Mike McCoy, of course, former coach, San Diego Chargers. He's trying to figure out what to do with Sam Bradford and this offense, an offense that has David Johnson in the backfield. When you have somebody like David Johnson, it shouldn't be that difficult for you to be able to score points or at least be able to put some points on the board. I think maybe, just maybe, they ought to simplify what's going on in the book there. They've only put up 6 points, and they've only had 350 total yards of offense through the first 2 games. Yeah, I think you need to keep 6 plays on the field, up the tempo a little bit, and start letting them at home, start getting the ball to David Johnson in his hands as many times as they can. So David Johnson has been brutally underutilized so far through 2 games here, and I do think you're going to see a totally different approach to the game against the Chicago Bears. Now, having said that, Chicago Bears, awesome on defense. We know what they're capable of doing. I'm not sold on the Chicago Bears offense at all. I do also think that the pressure is on after 2 games. Steve Wilkes, the head coach, and Mike McCoy, the offensive coordinator, they cannot go out and have another abysmal performance like they did last week against the Rams. So I do think that University of Phoenix Stadium, which is where the game is going to be played, I like Arizona getting 6 points. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are as bad as they have shown. I do think they're trying to figure it out. I do think Sam Bradford is due. I'm not even interested in Josh Rosen yet because nobody's even talking about him in the Arizona Cardinals camp there. So to me, Sam Bradford, got to get the ball out of his hands quicker, and you got to get David Johnson the ball. The guy is a game changer. And for those of you that have David Johnson in fantasy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Chances are you've lost the last couple of weeks because you've centered your lineup around David Johnson. I think this is definitely the weekend for David Johnson to come to town at home. And Chicago has come off of 2 big primetime games. One of them was Sunday night. The other one was Monday night. So I think they're a little weary right now. I think if you're going to get the Chicago Bears on the road, I think this is a pretty good time to get them. And you know all the public at this point. Let me see what the odds are in this. Hold on. Let me get the breakdown of the game for you here, because the odds were just absolutely crazy, the amount of bets that were coming in on the here it is, on the Bears. Yeah, so right now we're looking 70%, 76% of the bets thus far that have come in have been on the Chicago Bears as a 5.5 to 6 road favorite. Okay, that's a lot of public money coming in back in the Bears, who they think because Khalil Mack is on the team, they're somehow world beaters now. And for that line to be about 6, I don't know that the pros are confident enough in the Cardinals to take them. But this is certainly one of those contrarian spots as a sports bettor where you go, well, everyone's going left. Maybe it's a good time for me to go right. And the time might be now and on this game. So I'm not saying that this is... what am I going to say? I'm not saying that this is, guarantee it, but I do think there's some value here on the Arizona Cardinals. And let me give you a trend here. Since 2003, teams that scored fewer than 10 points in back-to-back games have been absolutely undervalued the following game, which is, the Cardinals at this point got shut out last week, and they've only scored 10 points. So teams that scored fewer than 10 points have gone 62% against the spread in this game. In this game exactly, the third game of that leg, the Arizona Cardinals getting 6 points, well, 62% of the time those teams end up covering. So I just don't know. Mitchell Trubisky has made 7 career road starts prior to this week, and he's never been a road favorite. This is the first time. So congratulations to the Chicago Bears for being 1-1 thus far, but I don't know. Since 2003, teams who have been listed as underdogs in Week 3 that didn't cover the first 2 games, that also would be the Arizona Cardinals. 47-31 against the spread. That is 60%. 60%. So the trends and the numbers, I think, are favoring the Cardinals. The public loves them. I don't. I don't love the Chicago Bears, rather, but the public loves the Bears. So to me, those 3 games, huge value, all underdogs. Those would be the underdog games that I'm looking at. That's, once again, if you're just joining us, the New York Giants getting 6.5 in Houston. I love the Indianapolis Colts getting 7 points, 7.5 points on the road in Philadelphia because Carson Wentz is back, whatever the hell that is supposed to mean. And I love the Cardinals getting 6-7 points against Chicago at home. So those are the 3 contrarian picks. Those are the 3 bets that I would look at if you are looking for value and looking for a chance to be able to make some money this weekend. I'm not sure what the money lines in these games are, but to me, those 3, you want to put a parlay number out there. You want to put $10, $20 down on a 3-team parlay, probably a pay 8, 9 to 1, maybe even 10 to 1, depending on what you get. Those are the 3 underdogs that I would look at. Those are the games that I like a lot. Now, what do we got here in the Vari? What do we got, Vari? What are you telling me here? What do we got? I'm putting my money on Kansas City, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, and Baltimore. So what are you going? Kansas City? And that would your big pick here? Here's the problem with Kansas City. It's another one of those situations where you are going to have to wait for the shoe to drop at some particular point. We do know that your boy there is not going to continue to throw touchdown after touchdown, Mahomes, without having some sort of regression, and they will have some sort of regression at some particular point. Kansas City is at home. I get that. So people are going to go, well, they're at home. How do you not take them? They've won these games on the road. Yes, you have. But at the same time, I think this is a perfect spot for Patrick Mahomes to be able to regress a little bit there. That's the only thing that I'd be worried about. And I do like the number I like in that game is the over-under. I like the over there at 55. They are 65% of the money is coming in on the Kansas City Chiefs right now from the public. So keep that in mind. I do like the fact that I think these teams can put up some points. I think Garoppolo in San Francisco can put up points just like the Kansas City Chiefs. Here is what you need to know as far as the trends go. In Andy Reid's career as a head coach with the Eagles and Chiefs, that's 230 games for Andy Reid. This is the highest over-under by nearly 3 points. So the over-under 55-56, that's the high. That doesn't happen in the NFL. You realize that, right? This is the highest over-under in the first 4 weeks of a regular season since 1990. 55-56 is what Vegas has this number at. And a lot of people are going, hell no. A lot of people came in and took the under and said it's way too much. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. If the total reaches 56.5, this would match what the Patriots and Falcons did in October of 2017. I do think there's going to be a lot of points here, but I also think that Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes is due for a little drawback there, a little drawback. The 49ers getting 6.5. I like that, and I like the over because I do think defenses are not going to show up here. Also, just a side note, in daily fantasy, George Kittle is a guy that you're definitely going to want to look at on DraftKings and FanDuel. Guys got burned from him last week. He was only two catches, 22 yards last week, and a lot of people are going to write him off because they have the recency bias. But I'm telling you right now, this guy, he's got a great matchup against that Kansas City secondary and linebacking crew, and the Chiefs are a team where if you've owned and you've played tight ends against them, you have done well over the history. So keep an eye on Kittle as a tight end option, daily fantasy. He's also going to be available. I think, what did they have him down? Maybe only 10% bought so far. So that means you got a pretty good opportunity if he lights up the Kansas City defense, which I'm thinking he might. But take the call. I love that Colts game, too. Who else did you have in there? Minnesota. Well, Minnesota, what is the spread in the Minnesota game right now? How many are they laying? Is it 17, 18 points? How bad is it that you're a professional team and they don't even think you're going to be competitive in Vegas? 17 points. That is almost unheard of in the NFL, that you're looking at a professional team, the Buffalo Bills, having to lay or getting 17 points is just, it's mind-blowing to me. But also remember, too, it does look like they're going to be down a couple of guys. One on Everson. I believe Everson on the defense is out for Minnesota, and I do believe Cook is also already been burned or has already been shelved. That means Latavius Murray is going to get plenty of opportunities in that game. I don't know. 17 and a half points, man. That is, I mean, is Buffalo that bad? I know Buffalo has got guys retiring at halftime, and it's a little iffy across the board. That's just 17 and a half points is just so many points. It's kind of hard for me to fathom. What is it? 17 and a half right now. And by the way, 70% of the bets, 76% of the dollars have come in on the Minnesota Vikings. So we talked about contrarian picks. This will be the 6th time since 2003 that we have seen an underdog of 14 or more points in the month of September. Yeah, and those previous 5, 1-3-1 against the spread, usually losing by an average of 22 points per game. LaShawn McCoy is out there saying it doesn't look like he's going to be available for this game. It's disgusting watching it. It really is. And I feel bad for Buffalo Bills fans, but damn. I mean, the Vikings, maybe. I think the way to go here is also look at the first half scoring. I think -10 is the first half number right now for the Minnesota Vikings. And despite the Bills having the worst rated team in the league, I expect things to go pretty hard left pretty quickly in that game. I wouldn't at all surprise me if you were looking at 21-3, 21-10 at if they can even score. So you might be looking at 17-21 nothing at the half. And if you can get -10 for the Vikings first half, I would take that, because I do think what will happen is they will blow out the Buffalo Bills early, and then you'll start to see a lot of the reserves late, which may screw up the number. So look at the first half number. If you can get -9, -10, -11 for the Vikings in the first half, do that, because in the second half, if they're up 21-0, 17-0, 24-3, I can guarantee you they're going to take their foot off the gas, and they're not going, especially since they're hurt already. What do we got? Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. Keep in mind, Kirk Cousins loves Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. 30% and 23% of the targets have come from Kirk Cousins to Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. That, my friends, we are talking about some serious usage. And when it comes to fantasy football, it's all about usage. How many times are they going to touch the ball? How many times are they going to have an opportunity to make a play? Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, that's who Kirk Cousins looks at. So keep an eye on that. I don't trust just Josh Allen yet. I think he still has a deer in the headlights kind of look. I like the first half bet better than the full 16.5, 17.5 points. Look for the first half in that game. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. We got another game across the board here. How about Cincinnati at Carolina? Did you have that game? Let me see what we got there. Oh, it was so funny you just said that. What do we got there? Joe, I drafted McCoy last season. He was my first overall pick, but he's a busting fan. Yeah, and he's also hurt. I think he's got broken ribs, so I think he's totally toasted. There's no way that he's going to be able to show up there. And if I'm LaShawn McCoy, I don't want anything to do with having to suit up and play in that game. I don't want anything to do with having to play for this team. No offensive line. It's just brutal there. Cincinnati at Carolina. Keep this in mind. Andy Dalton, 30-16 against the spread as an underdog in the regular season. The Panthers are a 3-point favorite at home, and Andy Dalton, 30-16 against the spread when he is an underdog. That is the most profitable underdog quarterback since 2003. So Andy Dalton makes some people some money as an underdog, and he's doing that again as we speak. Also keep this in mind, though. The Panthers, Cam Newton, he is 15-6 against the spread when he plays at home off of a straight-up loss. And the Panthers lost to the Falcons last week. And Cam Newton at home is tremendous bouncing back against the spread. So keep that in mind. There's only one quarterback that is better at home against the spread or more profitable against the spread at home after a straight-up loss, and that is Drew Brees, who is 19-9 against the spread in the Superdome. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Jacksonville 6.5-point favorite. The weather appears to be that it's going to be hot and muggy, which should favor Jacksonville in this game. But, and this is interesting, over the past 3 seasons, Blake Bortles and the Jags are 11-6-1 against the spread versus their division rivals, including 6-2 against the spread as a favorite. And they usually cover by an average of 10 points. So there's some opportunity here. A lot of people jumping all over the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they don't know if Mariota or Blaine Gabbert is going to be playing yet this week. They said that he has been throwing the ball in practice, Mariota that is. He might take a go at it. If not, you're looking at Blaine Gabbert again. And if Blaine Gabbert goes, guys, keep this. Gabbert is 0-8-1 against the spread after he wins the previous game. And he won the previous game against the Houston Texans last week. So 0-8-1 in the following game. So if he starts, then the 6.5 points might be just the play for you in order to be able to cash some money. All right, getting ready here, coming up on a 6 o'clock hour, and love you guys. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us. We've got some games tonight. FAU, don't forget, 7 o'clock, taking on UCF. If you're just joining us, the 3-team parlay that you got to have there. Take the UCF and FAU over in that game. If you can get 72, 73, I do think that we're going to have 50 points in the first half alone in this game. These two offenses can score points, and I do think that they're going to score a bunch of them tonight. So take the over. Take Illinois getting 28 points against Penn State. Penn State's got Ohio State next week. Penn State on the road is no way better than a 4-touchdown favorite. Shouldn't be a 4-touchdown favorite in this game, especially since their quarterback McSorley is barely completing 50% of his passes. So 28 is just way too much. Take Illinois. And then tonight's game, USC, Washington State, I can tell you right now, Washington State getting 5.5 points, even though they're going to play at USC. Clay Helton, that USC program is crap. They're missing a whole bunch of starters on the defense, especially in the secondary of USC. So anticipate that these guys are going to take full advantage of it. Washington State is going to be throwing the ball all over the yard there tonight. Take the 5.5 points, and give yourself a 3-team parlay. The over in FAU, take Illinois getting 28, and take Washington State getting 5.5. And that should make you some money tonight, damn it. Jeremy, you make sure you have a fantastic weekend as well. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us. Vari, good luck to your Raiders, although I don't have a lot of confidence in them. Good luck to them. And that was also, if you're just joining us, maybe the stat of the day. The last 9 starts for Derek Carr, the last 9, he is 9-0 on the under. That is right. Derek Carr is perfect in his last 9 games hitting the under. So they're only averaging about 15 or 16 points a game here. That's the 5th worst in the NFL. I don't know where they're going to crap out some offense here, but just remember, the over, I think, is 44.5 to 45. Raiders and Dolphins this weekend. He's 9-0. Could make it a simple 10-0, and nobody would know any worse for it. So enjoy the weekend, enjoy the games tonight. Cash some tickets. We'll come back and break it all down on Monday, 4 o'clock. That's what we do here at WTF Sports TV. Don't forget Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We invite you guys to be a part of it. Subscribe, tell your friends, like the channels, like this. Do whatever you got to do. Please help us spread the word. You have no idea how much that would mean to us. Just go ahead. If you haven't done it, if you're at the Joe Ranieri Show page right now, just make sure you check out WTF Sports TV. Like it, subscribe. You'll get notified every time we go ahead and do a show here. We've got plenty of shows on the way from guys all over the country that are that do something very similar to this. So if you're a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, if you're a fan of the Oakland A's, we've got guys from different parts, Michigan too, guys that are going to be bringing their shows and broadcasting here on WTF Sports TV. And don't forget, tonight, coming up in 5 minutes, we've got ourselves the BackStretch. That is correct, the BackStretch coming your way live from the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Greyhound racing, horse racing, handicapping, what's coming up, Breeders' Cup just around the corner. The guys from the Palm Beach Kennel Club, Benny the Boot, Mike Balsamo, Mike Jamison, they'll be coming your way here in just about 10 minutes. So keep it here at WTF Sports TV. Make sure you tell your friends, tell your family, and then come back and join us on Monday. Also, big shout out to Mark Lawrence. Make sure you check out Mark Lawrence, was nice enough to stop by. At Mark Lawrence on Twitter, playbook.com. He is the dean of sports handicapping. Nobody over the years has been more successful than Mark Lawrence. And also want to thank our good friend Russell Baxter at Bax Football Guru, the Spin Zone, profootballguru.com. Check him out. Nobody knows football better than Russell. It's a great read, a lot of fun, and I want to thank him very much for stopping by and hanging out with us today also. So, been a fun week. You guys rock. Love you. Get ready for, yes, Vari. Oh, no, let me put it over here, Vari. You got it. There it is. Vari saying, have a good one, Joe. Let's make some money. Let's go Raiders. Florida State Seminoles will be 2-2. Gold Knowles. I'm not touching that game, but we love you guys. Have a great weekend. Come back and join us on Monday. Get ready for the BackStretch. It's coming your way.
much as they can. If you're calling on Facebook, everybody they know down in Florida and everyone around the country is just getting the word out. I mean, there's a lot of signs starting to show up all over the state. No on 13 and stuff is all over the place. We're hoping to get a TV ad out there to hopefully contradict the yes people who are going to start putting that out there. We know their playbook. So, it's just getting the word out there, and hopefully everybody hears it, and no on 13 goes down handily.
Hey, Jason, do you have any idea why the animal rights people haven't started shooting off yet? I thought they would start already.
For just going by the playbook, and this, Steve, going from Massachusetts, they're going to wait till the very last second, and then they're going to pour those millions of dollars that they have right now, because they've got almost $3 million that have gotten donated to them from all sorts of other people that are on in this scam. And, they're just going to wait until last month, and they're going to flood you guys with the TV, the radio. So it's just up to the people that are no on 13 to see the word out there now and get ahead of it, because it's coming.
It's supposed to be a very political thing that's happening with this whole vote yes
There's
and vote no.
No such thing as political.
Well, listen, I just read today that the governor hopeful candidate Ron DeSantis said, and I quote, "I don't think Greyhound racing should be in the Constitution." So I don't know if that sways you any one way or the other. I don't know what Gillum's position is, but for Ron DeSantis says he doesn't think it should be in the Constitution, I think that's pretty heavy for a governor to say.
Let's bring in Mike Coppola, our track caller from Naples-Fort Myers. He's a huge proponent on voting no. Mike, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Backstretch. Why don't you tell us what exactly is Prop 13? How did this happen and why?
I just want to answer something first. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me. But back to that DeSantis question, my good friend volunteers for the Democratic Party. And, in fact, I had sent something to Mike that they are literally telling people to vote yes on 3, 4, 13, and I think it was 6 was the other one. But basically, the Democratic Party is in support of ending Greyhound racing. And, of course, my poster child for hatred, Carlos Smith, is his big supporter, so I have to believe they are against Greyhound racing.
Mike, it's funny you bring that up because you sent me the picture of this, and this is how they write it up. This is how the Democratic Party puts this together. Ends legal wagering on inhumane dog racing. Throwing the word inhumane in there, that's not swaying people, and that's not, lobbying for what you believe in. It's an absolute joke.
Which kind of brings me to my next point for either Jason or Michael. What is it with the Humane Society and Grey 2K and how they twist the truth to serve their own purposes? Guys want to talk about what happened in Massachusetts and what we should be looking at?
Mike, why don't we start with you because I think you're very familiar with what happened in Massachusetts.
Oh, but here's the other point. Now, let's go to this mockery of a contradiction. It's inhumane to run live racing in Florida, but hold on, folks. You can bet West Virginia, Iowa, and Arkansas. Am I missing something on that? So it's good for them, bad for us? Massachusetts was a joke. What happened was I think they had a perfect storm. Casino gambling had come into Connecticut in 1992. The Foxwoods opens up. And that was the flood. That was the new wave. Racing was on the decline, the problems they had with it. And all of a sudden, Massachusetts took this big advantage. Oh, the inhumane of Greyhound racing. But people forget one thing. Once they got rid of racing, Grey 2K did nothing. They leave. They leave the dogs behind. They don't care. And that's what people have to realize, that their only interest is taking money in. They found a great way to make money. That's all they do. They tell you it's bad. Wow, thank you. Thank you for that public service.
And I came from Massachusetts. I was like 5 miles away from Taunton Greyhound track. And don't forget, that was their second attempt. The first attempt passed, if I'm not mistaken. But the most important thing, it was around the Michael Vick dog problem. Okay? And that's what happened. I think Massachusetts voters, they did not take this, they took it lightly. They didn't think it was ever going to happen.
Well, it's funny because we have those patrons now down at Naples, and you're right. You're right. They didn't. No one believed it. You are correct, and that's sad. With people, it is important to speak. It is important to get out there and vote no. You can never assume anything in this situation.
Mike, you and I had a conversation yesterday that I was telling you that I felt that the CRC committee had written the bill very sloppily, and I thought that that's why the judge said it was trickeration. But you have a different opinion about that.
I think it was done on purpose. I mean, an attorney general that doesn't know how to write a bill, I mean, I'm sorry. She's not a dumb woman. She knew what she was doing. She wrote it because, let's face it, all you want to do is convince people about the poor dogs. Because if you put in there about casino expansion, I don't think the women groups are going to be jumping on their bandwagon. So I think it was done on purpose. I think she purposely was deceptive. But I think she had this lined up. And also, Florida voters should be upset. Look at the waste of taxpayers' money on this, that she wrote a poor bill to get it overthrown to put it in the Florida Supreme Court. This was, Vince McMahon couldn't have wrote this script. That's how bad this was. And as taxpayers, we should be very upset for the money that was wasted on this, that this is not important. And the second thing people should realize, none of these people went to a kennel. How could you vote something through without visiting a kennel? That's impossible.
Well, what you do is believe the lies that they're spreading without doing your own research, and that's one of the biggest issues here.
I mean, that's the great 2K script. I mean, that's what they're donated to do, is read a script. I mean, I don't know about you, but I heard the numbers changing of dogs dying over the last 5 years. The numbers kept multiplying per statement.
I saw one where they're saying a dog dies every 2 minutes at a track and field. We've had dogs in an hour and a half. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
It's also human nature, and we've all done this before, and I've said this to a lot of people all the time, is that as human beings, we focus on negativity, and a lot of times we don't go to the positive side of it. We take it, the negativity, we talk about it, we never talk about the positive side. I think this has a lot to do with what might happen.
6:13, it's the Backstretch, brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club, 95.9, the True Oldies channel. That's where we do it. Mike Balsamo, Benny the Boots, Steve Lesser, Palm Beach Jason of Watch and Wager. We're speaking with Mike Coppola. He's your head track caller at Naples-Fort Myers.
I want to ask Jason something. Jason, you talk to everybody in the industry. Outside of Florida, what are the dog people saying about what's going on in Florida? Are they concerned it's going to spread, or what is their input?
Well, and here's the thing with owners, Benny, is that it's not just in Florida. There's owners all around the world that have greyhounds in Florida. So everybody is concerned with this because if Florida goes down, everybody's pretty convinced that everywhere else in the country, greyhound racing is going to end. And that could end up, affecting Ireland, England, Australia. I mean, this could be a worldwide effect if this thing actually goes through. And another thing with Michael, too, I mean, we're talking about greyhound racing, and the national championship just got signed by Naples. So, I mean, this is another thing that Naples and Mike got to worry about. If this goes through, the national championship is gone, and Michael's probably going to be calling that. So we just got that contract signed. So the national championship, greyhound racing, there are so many things on the line here. We have to vote no.
Why isn't somebody unionizing all the greyhound owners and kennel owners and try and match that same amount of money that the yes people have? I mean, there's a lot of people involved. We know right here in Palm Beach, it's 5,000, in Florida, rather, it's going to be 5,000 people that lose their job. Why aren't they getting organized and with the people in Alabama, West Virginia, Iowa?
We're up against a giant. I mean, this lady gives out $1.5 million to the animal rights people. What's her name? The Hollywood star.
Oh,
and I don't even think we have
Doris Day.
Doris Day. I don't even think we have 1.5 million.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to reach out to the other guys, the guys in Alabama, West Virginia, Iowa. Why aren't the Texas guys? Why aren't they all behind this?
Well, maybe they are, but there's so much you can do with so little money.
Yeah, I'm very aggravated too that the horse people aren't behind this.
I'm sorry, Tim. I have to say, because you brought up Doris Day, I find that ironic because. Wasn't she at Del Mar quite a bit with Bing Crosby back in the day when all her friends went there to Del Mar? Was she going to say, geez, I don't want to stop horse racing? Because I really doubt that she was that vocal back then. So I find that, we talk about hypocritical, that a woman who's been out of the spotlight many moons, donating to this. Again, is this Pam just calling in favors? Because I think she lined this up very well. But I think it's sad because I don't believe that this woman, would say this, and this is why, not that she wouldn't say this, but the whole falsehood of bringing her in, it's terrible what Pam's doing, because I think she's orchestrated this. I really do. It's terrible.
I'm very much concerned
and
that
again, who's the other
Humane Society puts so much money into it as well.
Yes.
I mean, and who's donating to the Humane Society? Do they really know what goes on at the Humane Society?
I know what goes on. 1% of the money goes to helping.
Yeah, well, people just listen to lies. When you hear a dog is man's best friend, okay? When people throw out lies like this, you're just going to listen to the negativity. You're not going to listen to the positive.
Before we wrap this up, Mike, I know you're busy. We just want to know, what's the effort been on the West Coast for you guys, trying to get the word out about voting no on 13?
We've been, like I said, I've had a lot of Twitter friends, Steve, Mary, Elaine, Alexis. They've been pushing the word, really helping us. I mean, I noticed that Naples finally is getting involved, pushing, a no on 13 narrative. But it's been a grassroots effort on this side. It's been, Sun State Great adoption as well, very helpful. These are people giving their time, pushing, trying to get the word out. I just have to make one comment before I go. I adopted 2 retired racers 4 years ago, and they're girls. They're still girls, by the way. They didn't change gender. So I don't know who that lawyer was that said dogs change gender, but, I mean, I'm just amazed what I read. And these are educated people. That scares me more. I find that unbelievable, the lies that are spread.
You guys are not
and
open,
people sitting
so
there,
they're not. Generate more stuff. Listen. You haven't been open, and you're opening, I guess, in another month or so. But it'll kind of be too late. The vote will be already up. It's just too bad you guys.
No, we're opening December this year. No, we're opening the end of December this year. That's another conversation for another time.
That's too late, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we've been pushing, like I said, I've been out there.
You couldn't push it.
To anyone who will listen to me on Twitter, listen.
Mike, I want to thank you so much for stopping by.
Bible.
You're always welcome here on the Backstretch. Mike Coppola, one of the leading people pushing for vote no on 13. He's your head race caller at Naples, Fort Myers. Mike, thank you so much for stopping by. It's the Backstretch, brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Time. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening.
Anytime, Mike. That's where we are every Friday night, Belvedere and Congress in West Palm Beach at 6:18. This is the True Oldies channel. Mike Balsamo, Benny the Boot, Steve Lesser, Palm Beach Jason of Watch and Wager. Let's talk a little bit about the races, guys. We had some good ones today. Steve, you were all excited. Flat Check Cup had a nice run in the 8th.
Beautiful box to wire run. I don't know what he ran. He ran under 30.
Yeah, 29.77.
Yeah, he had a beautiful. He just popped right out of there. Nobody caught him. And my girlfriend, Eyes Appealing, sweetheart. Yeah, absolutely.
29.55.
Yep. Palm Beach Jason of Watch and Wager in the 10th race. Craigie Parnell came out and dropped a pretty nice time as well, 29.73 to take that one down.
Right, a lot of the batters around Barcelona and also a little bit of SE's Cool K. But Craigie Parnell, who pretty much took a lot of the summer off, just got back into racing for the last range. Came out, just threw a great race down. Box to wire going 29.73. Craigie Parnell looks good and rested going forward.
And Jason, wrapping up the final 2 of the day, 14 and 15. M.W. Willie, who we talked about a little bit on this show, one of the top times of the day with a 29.68, and then just a tick faster JS Main Event. Beat at a really good field with the likes of JT's in the Bank in the 15th to take that one down.
I must be hot because the 15th I boxed that Superfecta, so, I'm just going to keep rolling with it. But I was really impressed by M.W. Willie today from the DQ Williams kennel. This is a dog we've been talking about the last couple of months. This dog can break. So if this dog can keep going as we go on, this could be a big 3 contender. And DQ Williams will be taking down a stakes title already, and also JS Main Event. This is a double stakes finalist. He's got a lot of experience and just was able to take him down, including JT's in the Bank, who hasn't missed a Quinella since July and just missed the first one almost 3 months later. But congratulations to all of them.
Like I mentioned, we've been making you a ton of money lately if you listen to the show. Palm Beach Jason, 3 for his last 3. Steve's been hot as well. Steve, we can start with you. You have a Quinella double for us for this evening?
Yeah, I got a Quinella double. I like in the 14th race of 1, 6, and 7 with the 15th race of 2, 3, and 5.
And that'll be your Quinella double for the evening, which, by the way, the Quinella double paid $148 if you hit it in the matinee card. Palm Beach Jason of Watch and Wager, do you have a best bet for us this evening?
Absolutely. Got a couple for you. I got a nice puppy in the 2nd race, number 2, and I can't believe this dog actually, with the amount of letters in it, is actually okay to go. It's Do You Love Me or Do You Not from the Carroll Kennel. It's going to go for 3 in a row tonight in D-grade. He gets it down. And also, in the 4th race, I think it's going to get a little price tonight. Number 2, Atascocita Elf. He's going to get the super sprint. Stay hot, boys.
Jason, congratulations on your 3 in a row, and I agree with you on both of them. As a matter of fact, my daily double, I hate to say it, but I agree with Jeff Prince. I think tonight's daily double looks like a 1-2 to me. So if you're down here playing the Quinella double, I would throw a few bucks on that daily double.
That's beer money.
Thank you very much. That's beer money.
Well, when you have Benny's money, you could bet a few grand on it.
It's probably a $9 double, but you know what? If it comes out and you got $20 on it, it's $90.
I'm walking away with 100.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Not too shabby. Steve, you have a best bet for us?
Yeah, the best bet. My best bet is in the 10th race, and that's number 1. NB's a blood sister. I think the rail's going to benefit her. She has some decent speed in grade B, so I think she's going to pick up some from the 1 box. The 2 and the 3 do not break.
These guys have picked all Jeff Prince's.
I know, it looks disgusting looking
at
Does
Jeff have the one in the 10th race?
Yes, he does.
Oh.
Listen, folks, it brings to the point where we say, before you come out to the track, check their website, PalmBeachKennelClub.com, get Jeff's picks for free.
Yeah. Yes.
You get the program for free. And like I said, Jeff had 2, he started out the week with 2 Quinella doubles on Monday and Wednesday. So, always when you're down here and you're trying to handicap, pick up Jeff's sheet. It's free. And, if yours stacks up to Jeff's picks, you're probably on the right track.
Yeah, it all depends on what side of it is. It's the first 6 or 7 or the last 7.
That's amazing. Yeah, well, a winner's a winner. I'm out the door if I'm a winner.
But he has done 13, 14 out of 15.
Oh, I know. I know he has.
Okay, so
I know he has.
He knows what he's doing, that's for sure.
He does.
Speaking of knowing what he's doing, Benny's not necessarily one of them. Benny, we're not going to have much to talk about horse racing-wise for maybe 2 or 3 weeks after this as we get ready for the Breeders' Cup, but this is a big weekend. Tell us about it.
Yeah, like I said, this weekend and next week are probably the 2 premier end-of-the-year races for the Breeders' Cup. And tomorrow we're looking at the $1 million Pennsylvania Derby. For 3-year-olds. It's actually the last 3-year-old race of the year for the colts, and it shouldn't disappoint. It's going 1.1 miles at Parks, and Bob Baffert is going to send Mackenzie. Remember Mackenzie? It was one of my future bets, Mackenzie. And he didn't run in the Kentucky Derby due to a slight injury. So here's the field of 10 that's going to be going tomorrow.
Out of the 1 box, it's going to be first Mondays. We're expecting like a 30-1 morning line. Lightly raced colt. He's going to make just his 4th start Saturday. Last time out was the Smarty Jones, the local Pennsylvania Derby prep, non-threatening, 3rd by 4 1/4 length. This seems like too soon for me.
Well, here's a horse that's been tipped by everybody in the world. Number 2 is Hofberg. It looks like he's 3-1 morning line. This is, of course, a Bilmont and Ortiz combination. He missed the Travis stake due to a fever, but he's on schedule for his start following that jump. And the thing that gets me crazy about this, he's only won a maiden race, yet he's been in the Grade 1 Florida Derby, the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont Stakes. So how many chances is this guy going to have? He ran respectable in each of those races and enters the Pennsylvania Derby off back-to-back Bullet Works, but Bullet Works don't win races. So if not for Mackenzie's presence, this guy probably looks like the favorite. He is sharp. He's confident and possibly the betting favorite. We'll see.
He never does anything. And Hofberg he's another one of those. I think it was Craig Koff or Wheels that was all over Hofberg, going into the big 3.
Remember those 2? And don't forget Gronkowski.
Yes.
Hofberg, Gronkowski.
Bunch of wasted time on my part. I like in still regard better. This colt's competed with the Crop's best. He remains a little inconsistent. 2 starts prior to the Derby. He ran a disappointing 4th. Ending a layoff here, he's tough to make a case for to win, right off the shelf.
Yeah, everybody seems to think because Chad Brown gets a horse, he's automatically going to move up 5 seconds. That's not the way it works. There's another guy that's been in a race way too long. So I kind of agree with you, Mike. I don't like him to win this race at all. Number 4 is King Zachary. He's 15-1. 4th is the favorite in the Indiana Derby, which to me doesn't signal anything great. He came back to run 4th in the Travers, but he was 1.5 lengths behind Bravazzo.
I'm liking the core beliefs out of the 5 hole. 12-1. The only finish outside the trifecta came in his last race, the Haskell. The horses he's run with since, third behind Justify and Boltioro in the Santa Anita Derby. So it's not like it's nobody. Don't indicate core beliefs as a threat here. He's another that doesn't play a part in the early pace, but I got a feeling here.
Yeah, he could sit a very good trip, Mike. You're right. If the pace collapse, core beliefs could be right there. Number 6 is Axelrod, 20-1. This guy cost me my exacta last week, a couple of weeks back. This guy was bought for $25,000. He's already earned that money 10 times over. He was second in the affirmed, and including a last out score in a local prep race. The Smarty Jones ran a very nice race. He showed ability to close from mid-pack or from moderate fractions, and plus it was at Park. So keep that in mind, folks. You know, the trouble is he doesn't. We don't know if he has the class because this is a Grade 1 race. So he deserves to be on your ticket someplace, although not necessarily on the top spot.
Mr. Freeze is about an 8-1. He debuted in March, posted a monster effort his last time out, winning the West Virginia in front-running style. He's improving, and he deserves a chance to prove himself here.
Well, if you like speed horses, this is probably the speed horse that you're going to want to play. The only thing, again, is another thing where he ran, and he won the Grade 3 race of the West Virginia Derby, which is, you know, it's kind of a barrel type of race. It's just a very short half-mile track with a lot of turns and steep turns, and I just don't know if that equates to Parks, but we'll see. Number 8 is, here he is, McKenzie. He's 5-2 morning line. He was a top early Kentucky Derby prospect before Justified came along. And don't forget, Justified and McKenzie were in the same barn with Bob Baffert. McKenzie needed time to get over a slight ankle injury, and he's built some fitness now in the mornings. And, you know, he's had a trio of 7 furlong walks, and that's usually an indication that he's going to be ready to step up to a mile on the 16th. Again, he hasn't raced in 5 months, folks. I don't know how much of your hard-earned money you're going to want to put into a horse that hasn't run in 5 months.
Who hasn't run in 5 months? Because the age. Number 9 is going to be Trigger Warning. He's about 30-1. He was 79-1 in the Travers. He did manage to finish ahead of Tenfold, Gronkowski, Good Magic, and Wonder Godot. It's pretty good. It's capable of factoring in the pace scenario. He was caught late by Axelrod in the Indiana Derby, but is more than likely outclassed here. This looks like a toss away.
I can't say anything. I mean, Axelrod beat him, so that's we got to move on.
Yeah.
Number 10, rounding out the field, is Bravazzo. Dwayne Lucas has run this guy into shape. He showed up at every major race in this year. He won. He went in the Triple Crown. He ran in the Haskell. He ran in the Travis. His last 2 works since locating to Churchill Downs have been very sharp. You know, to me, it's old school stuff. It's where you run a horse till he's in shape, and this guy is either going to be very good or very bad tomorrow, because I think if he doesn't win or run second, he probably will pass up the Classic. But I would give him a definite shot. Bravazzo, he's run against the best.
What box? What gate?
That's number 10.
And what track?
And that's Parks.
Okay.
Listen, if you can get by the top 3, McKenzie, Hofberger, and Bravazzo, then the best bet, long shot, is probably Mr. Freeze. He's been... His speed is kind of eye-catching, and we'll see what happens. I think McKenzie coming off a layoff is questionable. I like Axelrod also as a long shot contender, only because he had a winner over this track following the Travis. It's another solid betting race for 3-year-olds, so stay with that race tomorrow.
Let's talk a little bit about 8 3-year-old fillies have been entered into Saturday's Grade 1 $1 million Cotillion Stakes, with this year's Kentucky Oaks winner, Monogamy Girl, up against familiar rivals in the 1 16th mile event. Second in the Oaks, that was Wonder Godot, and third, Midnight Pursue, will get another crack at the division leader. I can never say this, man. Menominee Girl has won 4 straight Grade 1 races as she closes in on a bid in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Race 10 is at Parks, which goes 1 before the featured Pennsylvania Derby. It's about 4:55 p.m. Here's a look at the Cotillion field. Out of the 1 box, Norma's Charm, 30-1. This filly will likely be the longest shot on the board. It took her 11 tries to break her maiden. Needs a little softer spot to be competitive.
Well, number 2 is Mahomany Girl. It's 4 to 5 morning line, and she should be. She's been nearly untouchable. She's next shy of a perfect 9 starts for 9 wins. She's won 4 straight Grade 1s, the Ashland, the Kentucky Oaks, the Acorn, the Coaching Club American Oaks. She's already beat Wonder Gabbett, Midnight Bazoo, and Chocolate Martini twice. Wanda Gabbett nearly caught her in the Kentucky Oaks at 1 1/8 miles. The same distance that's going to be in the upcoming distaff, but the Cotillion Stakes is more to her advantage than 1 1/6 miles. Listen, this is definitely the horse to beat, and I tell you, there's a lot on the line for Mahomany Girl. I think she's going to win the Eclipse Award for the 3-year-old filly. She's really good, folks.
It's pretty much pacing it, so if she wins this, they're going to take that down. Number 3, Jump Ruler, 20-1. This is an awfully big boost in class for Jump Ruler. It makes her first stakes start. Talent at this level is a little questionable, Ben.
Yeah, number 4 is Wanda Gabbett. If you put a line through her last race, was the Travis. Remember, she wanted to try against the boys. I don't know why, but that's what she tried to do. And she had a really good chance to beat Mahomany Girl. The filly hit the best rider in Canada, beating males in the first 2 legs of the Canadian Triple Crown. After a tough going to Travis and taking a lot of dirt, she finished last. In her last 4 works since, she's earned 2 bullets and 4 forms. So listen, looks fit and ready to be matched. This looks like probably a very good shot of running underneath Mahomany Girl.
Let's talk about the 5, Separation of Powers. About an 8-1 morning line odd. This filly wowed in her last start. She's lightly raced and has not won a route race. The one time she ran the Cotillion distance was last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, finished 4th. She scored 2nd in the 1 mile Frisette, and a race prior to that. The Cotillion will be only her 3rd start of the season, and while the class is there, the credentials for this distance just kind of don't make it for me. Classy filly might be better at sprinting.
Yeah, number 6 is Chocolate Martini. Earlier this year, Chocolate Martini went to the $25,000 claiming into a Grade 2 and won it at the fairgrounds, winning by a head over the eventual Alabama winner, Eskimo Kisses, and Wanda Gabbett. She ran 5th in the Kentucky Oaks, then returned for a show finish in the Summertime Oaks and the Country Club. She's a respectful filly in this division, but will need a big upset to capture this Grade 1. Listen, if you're looking for value, she might be a good value underneath.
You are going to have to watch out for Midnight Bazoo coming out of the 7th at 6-1 or so. Favored over Menominee Girl in the Kentucky Oaks, but ended up 3rd there. Rebounded in the Mother Goose, winning by 6, and she was bested by Menominee Girl again in the CCA Oaks before running 3rd as the Alabama favorite. Good chance to finish in the money with some improvements.
Yeah, number 8 is Dixie Serenade. A pair of allowed races just sprinting. Another big upset, unlikely in here. Just to wrap it up, Mahogany Girl looks like the one to beat, folks. I just don't see anybody getting by her. And Wonder Gamut could hook up early, and maybe you'll see Midnight Bizzle and Chocolate Martini. Listen, it's a good race, but you got to play Mahogany Girl 1st or 2nd, and then you make your triples and exactas and whatever, and hope for the best. Good luck today, and good luck every day.
Doesn't seem like there's a lot of cash to be made in this race,
no, I know.
Unfortunately, Benny, but we will be looking to see what Menominee Girl does, cementing that legacy going forward. We are out of time. Don't forget, we're voting no on 13 in November. No chance. We need to end Greyhound racing here in Florida. I want to thank Mike Coppola, our track announcer from Naples, Fort Myers, so much for stopping by. Steve Blesser's here as well. Palm Beach Jason of Watch and Wager. He's Benny the Boot. I'm Mike Balsamo. Let's talk next Friday night on the BackStretch.